for your whiskey needs. The lights were dimmed as our eyes met and you saw me. And forevermore, I'd like to share that vintage dream. And forevermore, we're living in that vintage dream.
I'm thirsty. He grinned as he stumbled through the bar. Well, he said, give me some more love, give me some love, give it all. His breath really said it all. His car was parked behind the back door. Tuxedo black, El Camino 1969. Well, he said, give me some more love, give me some love, give it all. His filthy fingers said it all. Yeah. Give it all. Well, he said, give me some more love, give me some love, give it all. His lazy eyes said it all. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Well, he said, give me some more love, give me some love, give it all. Give me some more love, give me some love, give it all. He said, give me some more love, give me some love, give it all. Give me some more love, give me some love, give it all. Alright, give it to me. Yeah. Alright, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, come on, come on, come on, come on. Well, he said, give me some love, give me some love, give it all. Give me some love, give me some love, give it all. Give me some love, give me some love, give it all. Give me some love, give me some love, give it all. Baby, give me some love. Well, na 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 na.
Pretending it's not getting to me. your mind in these trying times, yeah. I just can't accept you leaving me when I'm overseas with the heart so heavy. Think that I deserve the truth for once, not a guilty tone, 'cause you're not alone, yeah. You said you wanna come home, but I know you don't. So this time I won't hear it on the phone. If you got something to say to me, then say it to my face. What it's all about, why you're bailing out. Think you owe me an apology. Just say it to my face. You're sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. Say it to my face. You're sorry.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
After the murder of George Floyd, there was a reverberation that was felt around the world. Millions of people taking to the streets to demand that something change. And now, right here in the city of Minneapolis, there are people who are voting on what exactly that change looks like. On November 2nd, folks will head to the ballot box and cast their vote on whether or not they want to see the Minneapolis Police Department continue as it is with potentially some reform, or if they want to see the Minneapolis Police Department evolve into a public safety department. Yesterday, we heard from the chief of police on the issue. Take a listen.
I'm very intentional in doing my best to keep the Minneapolis Police Department as apolitical as I possibly can. Roughly 21,000 signatures were gathered to petition to have the Public Safety Initiative ballot added next month in November. Minneapolis has 420,000 residents. That is roughly 5% of our population. First and foremost, our officers need support. They need the tools, the equipment, the training, and funding to do their jobs. We are at a critical point of public safety in our city. Back in 2018, I went before our city council and I asked for 400 more officers, knowing what we could be up against in the coming years. We're flatlining right now. We are down a third. To vote on a measure of reimagining public safety without a solid plan and an implementation or direction of work, this is too critical of a time to wish and hope for that help that we need so desperately right now. As your chief of police, I would not be in favor of this ballot amendment. Here is what I can tell you ballot question number 2 will not do for you. It will not eliminate tragic incidents between police and community from ever occurring in our city. It will not reduce the disproportionate violent crime disparities involving African American victims that has been a public health crisis in our city for decades. It will not suddenly change a culture of a police department that has been in existence for 155 years. It will not engender trust or confidence in new economic and business development, tourism, and entertainment opportunities for this great city of ours.
So in essence, the chief of police in Minneapolis is asking residents to vote no. He does not want to see the Minneapolis Police Department evolve into a public safety department. Ben, I know that we have covered this. We followed. There was back and forth on whether or not this question was even going to appear on the ballot. Chief Arredondo pointed out yesterday that about 5% of the population in Minneapolis pushed to get this question on the ballot. And now there's actually some polls that are showing that the city's divided. It goes back and forth between 51 and 49%, or between 40 and 60%, depending on where you look, of people leaning towards evolving the police department into a system of public safety. Now, this isn't a radical idea. I mean, there are a lot of cities across the country that have public safety departments versus a police department. Ben, what are your thoughts on this?
You know, first, good morning, Georgia. We've been following this. You've been covering it. We actually had a chance to speak 2 days ago with Candace Montgomery, the co-executive director of Black Visions there in Minneapolis, and Minister Janae Bates, the comms director for Yes for Minneapolis, and they were speaking exactly about the Yes on 2 campaign. And the data that you're sharing, that percentage split, the polling that shows there's like a vacillation back and forth between 51% and 49%. That means that it is a rigorous public debate. And, you know, I would like to say shame on the chief for weighing in to try to put his weight on the scales, but that's what people in that kind of position do. That's what the police system is here for. The police system is not necessarily here for the people. It's here to sustain itself. And so clearly, Yes on 2 is a budgetary threat to the police department. And so, of course, that chief is going to come out and say, vote no on it, when there's a good percentage of the population are saying they're going to vote yes.
Well, and the other thing that really concerned me after watching this entire press conference was the fact that he really leaned in on the community violence. And he was saying, you know, you Black residents in Minneapolis are 400% more likely to be killed by somebody off the street than they are to be shot and killed by an officer.
That bothered me.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, yes, Minneapolis, while the world turned to this city because of what happened to George Floyd, and then obviously what happened with Daunte Wright, the world is not really following the fact that more than 13 children have been shot and some killed in the last few months here. And the police says it's because the police department is down to, I think, like a third of where they're supposed to be. But we know that, you know, police are not like, this isn't a new issue. You know,
That's right.
Minneapolis was considered Murderapolis in the 90s, and there was no George Floyd then, you know. And so while, yes, statistically speaking, you might say that someone who's Black in Minneapolis is 400% more likely to be killed by someone off the street than they are an officer, it still doesn't solve the problem that there is a chance they could be killed by an officer because of what has transpired. And we're still learning exactly what's transpired. The Department of Justice is in the middle of their investigation, and we'll learn more once those trials start in the next few months. But there has been obviously something that wasn't right that led to the DOJ launching that investigation to begin with. And so it feels it feels a bit inauthentic to take the two issues and pit them against each other.
Oh, yeah. No, you hit that spot on. Now, that is a part that I would clearly say the chief should be ashamed of. A Black man who is parrying the forwarding, and parroting is the word I was looking for. He is parroting the white supremacist talking points about Black on Black crime. I would like to ask this Black chief a question. What have you done to stop it? Why are you able to confidently quote these statistics, but you are in the position to provide public safety? And because you have not only not provided public safety in the form of addressing the violence that is ubiquitous in Black communities across the country, and instead of just pointing it out, Georgia, why would that Black man not point out the fact that crime is literally an economic phenomenon? And that the reason we see so much crime in Black communities is because we see so much poverty in Black communities. And I want to ask that Black chief a question. Does he believe that crime is there because we're Black or because we're poor? Because the way he answers that really determines whether or not any policing agency is capable of policing us. Because we got to stop penalizing poverty. People are committing crimes of desperation, especially in a pandemic when the government has completely abdicated its responsibility to take care of us.
Well, and the interesting thing is there was a report out by the CDC that homicides are at like the highest rate, U.S. records, highest ever increase in nation's homicide rate. That just came out, I think, 2 weeks ago, that we across our country, this isn't an issue that is exclusive to the city of Minneapolis.
That's right.
This is not an issue that is exclusive to communities that are having these very politicized trials of cops who are using excessive or fatal force. This is probably a result of the pandemic that we've been in and people losing their jobs. And like you said, maybe going from living paycheck to paycheck to now not having a check. And we know that poverty is a direct link to an increase, especially in violent crime. So, it's interesting. We heard him say there in the soundbite we played that he was going to try to keep this apolitical, but it just felt very political. And
that's right.
We'll see. We will see. The people will go out and vote, and we will learn November 2nd what will happen in the city of Minneapolis. Either way, Ben, I think one thing, regardless, I've spoken to a lot of people who sit on both sides of this issue. I've spoken to a lot of people who say vote no, that we need the police, that they deter the violence. I've spoken to Janae as well. I've spoken to a lot of people on the vote yes side who feel like there needs to be this total overhaul. But either way, one thing is certain on both sides of these issues. People do feel like change is needed in the police department. They're just not united in what that change looks like. So even if the Minneapolis Police Department does not evolve into a system of public safety, there's still reform that is needed to not only mitigate there being another George Floyd, but to also address the increase in violent crimes, right? So change is needed. It is.
Right. That's right. And the only other thing is I would say about this, Georgia, is that I really do want across the country, if we are going to be forced to have to deal with police, then we need policing agencies who clearly understand that their job is not to just say, oh, there's nothing that we can do about it except you give us more money. All of these reforms that he's talking about, all the things that police chief is talking about is going to lead to them getting more money, when the problem is the community needs that funding. The programs need that funding. The after school programming needs that funding. The job training programs needs the funding that the police have been seizing all this time.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It will be interesting. I feel like the world is continuing to watch what Minneapolis will do. Having a public safety department would allow there to be professionals, whether it's, mental health professionals, just different social services. So it's not always police responding when folks call in and they're having an emergency. But, on the other side of that, people are arguing and saying that it puts a commission of 14 people over the chief of police, and that is going to cause even more issues. And so, there's a lot to come out here, Ben. I'm obviously going to continue following this through the November 2nd vote, and we'll see what happens here in Minneapolis. But I understand you have been tracking a story this morning as well.
Yes, Georgia, it is one hell of a morning for anyone who wanted something progressive from the Biden administration. A couple of clips and information here about the new bill. The Democrats, according to CNN, has ditched the paid family leave component from their bill on Wednesday. And it's taken out of their vast social safety net program, and yet another cave to Senate moderates, including Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. Now, here's the problem, Georgia. They have been whittling away at this bill, taking out everything that is meaningful for anyone. They've reduced, it's in every aspect imaginable. We have now gotten to the point where this is just a piece of paper. Let's take a listen into this clip that gives a better insight into what's going on with this legislation.
In her latest Dear Colleagues letter, Speaker Pelosi says she has asked the Rules Committee for a hearing tomorrow to advance the president's agenda. For the average American who just wants to know when these votes might actually happen, what on earth does that mean?
They're going to prepare to be able to bring this legislation to the floor once it's ready. There is a big development, though, in these negotiations. We have just confirmed multiple sources telling us that the paid leave provision of this bill will not be included. It has been dropped from negotiations because of opposition from Senator Joe Manchin. Now, remember, that was a 12-week paid leave proposal, and that it was scaled back to 4 weeks in hopes to get Senator Manchin on board, and he's just not done it. Some of my sources say they're not giving up, though, until the bill is written. But for the time being, this big Democratic priority of paid family leave, something that the United States is one of the only developed countries that does not have, will not be in this legislation.
Here's how White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki framed the discussions with the president.
Last night, as you all know, the president met with Senator Sinema and Senator Manchin in the Oval Office and continue to make progress on finalizing details as we work toward an agreement. The president remains open to going up to the Hill. We haven't made a decision to do that, and we are making decisions hour by hour.
Senator Bernie Sanders, of course, a key part of some of these negotiations. He specifically wants to ensure that there's a Medicare expansion for both dental, vision, and hearing, and all of this. It's unclear how much of that is going to make it into the final legislation. So the president having a one-on-one conversation with the senator earlier this afternoon.
Now, Georgia, there's a lot of information that just came out of that clip, but here's some key components. We went from 12 weeks of paid leave to 4 weeks, and that wasn't good enough for Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin said, I don't want you to have any. I don't want you to have any time paid leave. We're one of the few developed nations that does not, one of two, that does not have paid leave. And Joe Manchin, who we caught on his yacht, some of the activists with ACT TV caught him on his yacht, living in the lap of luxury, is doing everything that and this is a Democrat, mind you. This is a Democrat who's doing everything he can to absolutely harm the American people in the most critical time. And it's not just Joe Manchin. I also want to bring out the fact that enough is enough with these Democrats, because if you can't get the American people the basics. How can you ask them to go and vote for you in the midterms? Now, I want to share one more graphic before we move forward. This is a graphic that gives us a breakdown of all the things that have gotten the knife. And this is from NBC's national political reporter, Sahil Kapoor. And he's reporting on all of these different policies. He said 2-year community-free college, gone. Clean energy performance program, gone. Guaranteed paid leave, gone. Tax rate hikes on the rich and corporations, gone. So here we are, Georgia, and I just have to ask the question, what was the point of all of us risking our lives during the pandemic to go out and make sure the Democrats got all the power, the White House, the Senate, and the House, and they are not doing anything for us?
Yeah. Well, the issue on paid leave is really personal for me because I was a news anchor and literally lost my job. I was legally terminated because I wasn't eligible for maternity leave. And so this is an issue that is deeply personal to me. And because our country does not have something in place, my entire career was derailed, and so when you have that lived experience of how these legislations or how these bills or lack thereof affect your day-to-day life, right? Like this not only affected my livelihood, it affected my family, my career trajectory, just because I decided to have a baby. And so when you look at being a woman in the 21st century, knowing that you can be legally fired because you're not eligible for maternity leave, you kind of have like this shock of like, is it 1950? Like, what year do we live in? What country do we live in? No, this is America. And we are one, like you said, of only 2 developed countries that haven't figured this out. And I did some organizing on this issue. And what I had proposed was just let's get a basic unpaid leave mandated. And then let's build on that and try to get a paid leave. Yes, I believe in paid leave, but I think that a family, whatever your family dynamic looks like, if you choose to have a child, that is your human right. And it is protected under the United Nations human rights. I think it's like clause 16, amendment 16, something like that. It is your human right to have a child. And so if it is a human right, how are there no protections? And so I think, honestly, in the research I have done, that a lot of these politicians are not framing this issue correctly. I think if it was framed as a human right, it would move through a lot faster. But unfortunately, pregnancy by itself has oftentimes been classified as a disability or a medical condition. That's right. And changing the narrative around that, I think, would help a lot. But, the last thing I'll say here, Ben, we live in a country where it is illegal to remove a kitten or a puppy from its mother before 6 or 8 weeks. But we are asking women to give birth, and there is no protection that says that a mother can just leave her child. And when you look at the laws in most states, there are not daycares that accept children under 2 weeks old. So at a very, very bare minimum, there should be a 2-week mandate after you have a child. And even if it's unpaid, that you should not lose your job, because there's nowhere for you to even put your child before they hit 2 weeks old. Let alone the fact that a doctor says you need 6 weeks minimum to recover. And that time increases if you have any complications or a C-section.
That's right. That's right. It's Georgia. It's astonishing. And the thing about it is I have come to the conclusion that it's not because our political leaders don't understand this. They fancy themselves to be smart enough to run for office. They understand what's going on. Republicans and Democrats. It's the feigning of helplessness from the Democrats that we're not going to tolerate. If they're going to sit here and pretend as if there's nothing that they can do to get Joe Manchin, Kyrsten Sinema, and get some Republicans in check, then we're going to let them know that they're incapable of representing us, because we don't have time for us to sit around. See, Georgia, I know you're tired of it. I know all of us are tired of it. We are tired of trying to explain to people who already know, and they don't want to know because they don't want to help us. And that is the only conclusion I can come to at this point, because I've been studying this a long time. You've been following this. You've been living this a long time. They know parents need to be able to go home with their kids. They just don't care. They need us to come out and make them their quarterly profit margins.
Well, I know that there are some youth even who are fed up. There have been about a dozen youth who have committed themselves to fighting against climate justice in DC, demanding that Biden take these issues and do something about them. And I want you guys to hear from these young people who now, I believe, are on day 9 of not eating anything, trying to build awareness and get Biden to buy in on the urgency of the need for climate justice. Take a listen.
Day 8 of the hunger strike. We're mostly lying down or sitting, and we have to take our vitals like around 3 times a day. If our blood pressure or heart rate drops too much, it means we have to go to the ER. But yeah, hanging in there. You can support us at the link in my bio. And I'm here doing this hunger strike because I would do anything for that future to be real. I have a president who said that was going to happen, who said that the U.S. government was going to make it possible for me to live my life, for my generation to live. He promised me and my generation, he promised the American people in every country on earth that he was going to cut fossil fuel emissions by 50% by 2030 to avoid the very worst of the climate crisis. I believe that he will do that. I believe that he will do everything in his power to make sure that happens before he goes to the world stage this Sunday. I keep hearing these stories about Joe Biden and the Democrats that they can't do that. That they're gonna let us burn and drown and starve in the climate crisis because Joe Manchin. They can't stand up to Joe Manchin. The senator from Exxon has taken $4 million from the fossil fuel CEOs. I ran into Joe Manchin yesterday, coming out of a meeting with his corporate donors. I begged him, and all it was him lying to me and then getting in his car and driving away while I screamed that I wanted to live. And I'm here because I am desperate and I am furious.
Wow.
Then these young people are putting their life on the line.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was looking at that, and I'm looking at them as they were standing next to, I believe it was Pastor William Barber. And I had to ask, I'm like, are these young people? Because they're in wheelchairs. They look emaciated. They are putting their physical bodies on the line because it's that serious. We're at that juncture, not only in regards to the pitiful politics of our politicians, but also in terms of the environment, the Sunrise Movement. Shout out to them in solidarity. And I really hope that the nation can see these young people sacrificing their bodies to get something actually done.
Well, and it makes me think about what's happening to this attorney who has been fighting on this issue just recently this week. He was sent to prison. And he was sent to prison because he filed a lawsuit against Chevron and won. And then here comes Chevron, and they have launched this campaign against him. And Chevron has been extremely successful in launching this campaign against him to the point where they have gotten him disbarred. And so as an attorney who filed this lawsuit against Chevron because of the waste that they were putting into the Amazon, all of these different environmental issues that they were causing as a corporation, right? And he put their feet to the fire and he held them accountable, and they came back with their money. And I'll let you guys take a look. This is the latest from Democracy Now! They did a really great breakdown on this, but it shows the people who stand up against this system, especially the environment, which I feel like people aren't always paying attention to this fight. But there is a system that will resist and will press back. Take a look at this.
What's been described as the Amazon's Chernobyl. 1,700 square miles of land in the Ecuadorian Amazon devastated by decades of reckless oil drilling. 10 years ago, Ecuador's Supreme Court ordered Chevron to pay $18 billion for dumping over 70 billion liters of oil and toxic waste into the Amazon. The ruling came in a lawsuit brought on behalf of 30,000 Amazonian indigenous people who'd been suffering since the mid-60s when Texaco began drilling on their ancestral land. Chevron bought Texaco in 2000. The landmark ruling was seen as a major victory for the environment and corporate accountability. But Chevron refused to pay or clean up the land. Instead of cleaning up the Ecuadorian Amazon, Chevron has spent the past decade waging an unprecedented legal battle to avoid paying for the environmental damage, while also trying to take down the environmental lawyer Stephen Danziger, who helped bring the landmark case. With the help of dozens of law firms, Chevron has ended Danziger's legal career. He's been disbarred. His bank accounts have been frozen. He's been forced to surrender his passport. Steve Danziger has also been under house arrest for nearly 600 days after a federal judge drafted a criminal complaint charges against him for refusing to turn over his cell phone and computer. In an unusual legal twist, the judge appointed a private law firm with ties to Chevron to prosecute Danziger after federal prosecutors declined to bring charges. His case is attracting growing attention with the legal world as well as among environmentalists and human rights activists.
What's at stake is the ability to advocate for human rights in our society. I mean, the things I was charged with were I was a lawyer litigating various court orders for years. This judge just went after me. I'm the only lawyer ever in U.S. history to be charged with criminal contempt of court for challenging a civil discovery order on appeal. That's essentially what happened.
Wow.
Ben, what do you say about that?
I say that we have a hell of a fight against us. Solidarity with Attorney Dozinger. And what he's going through. I saw a tweet that he sent out yesterday as he turned himself over to authorities to carry out his sentence. I believe it's a 6-month sentence. And the tweet showed him hugging his son, his teenage son. Broke me into a million pieces because while I can understand... Well, no, actually, let me start that last sentence again. I also understand that Brother Stephen is a soldier and he's out here fighting a good fight and he's fighting against a behemoth. Like the environmental lobby and these oil companies, they literally have enough money and enough power to get a judge to appoint a private law firm with ties to their company so that they can execute a grudge against a man who stood up against their environmental waste and destruction. That lets me know that we have a hell of a fight on our hands, Georgia, as we try to protect this planet from sociopaths.
Yeah, no, I couldn't have said it better myself. I know we are on the clock. So what is it that people can look forward to in the next hour?
Yeah, coming up in the next hour, we have several interviews coming up. The Amazon.com. We are still facing the fact that these Amazon drivers are having to urinate in bottles to get their packages to you. We're going to be discussing that with one of our interviews coming up at the 8:30 hour. We're also going to be reaching out. That first interview is Brother Maurice Weeks. He's going to be coming in to discuss Amazon. Then after that, we're going to be reaching out into the community. We want to, in part of our show, Georgia, is to connect with all the local communities that are doing good things for their people. We'll be speaking with my wife, Jada Dixon, who's going to be helping us on the community outreach tip. And we're even bringing in our pastor for the first time on our show to discuss what we're doing in our community to help Black people during this pandemic. It's exciting, and we'll be talking about it at 8:30.
Can't wait. Stick around for that and more on The Benjamin Dixon Show.
Y'all know who it is. You know the voice, you know the sound. It's your boy James Bubba Williams, DJ Exclusive is in the building. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Get your coffee, your tea, your drinks, your beverage, whatever it is you need. Get your morning started, y'all. I'll stay tuned. We got more coming up next on the Benjamin Dixon Show. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Again, y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. We got more coming up. Make sure y'all stay tuned. Good morning, everybody. I see y'all in the chat room this morning. We missed y'all. We are back for a short time. Not a long time, but a short time. So good morning, everybody. Y'all stay tuned.
Could really use a change of scenery.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Again, make sure that y'all stay tuned. Y'all be shout out to everybody in the chat room. And look who it is.
I know.
Good morning. I'm a little smiling Buddha looking ass. Good morning, everybody.
I'm still fly. Let's go.
Environmental Coffee House, Abner, Truth Teller, good morning. Marjorie, Church Lady, Chuck Diesel, Liz Bernstein, Terry Stacy, Rolling Dragon, what's going on? So, Brother Chuck Diesel, Taj Newby, what's going on? Taj Tweedy, what's going on? Right Church. What's going on? The Pioneer, Infinite Content, what's going on? My brother Tyler Hackner, Tiger, what's going on? Tiger, Samaya, Courtney, the SLP, Air Hustler, what's going on? Daryl Canoli, East Smith, Peter Lowe, Frequency, Nicole Howe, Mom and Daddy's in the chat somewhere. Good morning, Mom and Daddy as well. Raphael, good morning. Good morning, Q as well, too. Good morning, 11. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. We got more coming up, man. We got a lot of interviews coming up, so y'all stay tuned. The fans' perspective. Good morning, Sonny Wright. Grand rising to you as well. Good morning, everybody.
Cheers to all the haters, cause you proved to me that rising to the top was my destiny. And you can see whatever from behind me, but I'm still fly. I'm still fly, I know. I'm still fly, I'm still fly, let's go. It could all be worse, I could be a hater like you. It could all be worse. Clothes to make the man, but that boy that's gonna kill you. From the inside out, it's time.
Six Dragon Daddy, what's going on?
Now say it with your chest now. I'm free, can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time, it's my time.
Savage Sweetheart, good morning, sister. I can't wait to see what your costume is on Friday.
Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time, it's my time, it's my time to run it out. It's your time. Oh, if you're on the bus, say yeah. Yeah. If you're on the train, say yeah. Yeah. If you gotta walk, say yeah. Yeah. Everybody's going somewhere. Yeah. Young or old, I really don't care. Yeah. Life has never really been fair. Yeah. So put your fist up in the air. Yeah. Say yeah. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out.
Tell them I need my money right around. Yeah. Sorry to tell you.
Last first, good morning,
I know my value.
Good morning.
I'm gonna recoup, yeah. But don't waste my energy, my energy. I don't got much, don't be wasting all my energy.
All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is.
Nobody get close to me. My heart is right, don't question my integrity.
Brother Dwayne is going to roll that beautiful theme. It's my brother from another mother, Benjamin Dixon. Good morning, everybody.
Let me find out. You've been going around throwing shots, running.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Thursday, October 28th, 2021. I'm joined by my brother from another mother, DJ Exclusive. How you doing, man?
I'm good, sir. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. I'm still behind this picture because we're on the road. And man, I got some bad news. Now, we got a whole lot of interviews to get to. I'm going to get right to them. But I came back from you saw the picture I sent you. You know I picked up that sauce from Bethune Grill, right? The champ sauce. I left it in Jacksonville. So I'm going to go back to Jacksonville, and I'm going to get your sauce, man, because this sauce, let me tell you, it was worth the trip. James, you looking
putting my hair behind my ear, like, oh yeah, y'all hope you see me on screen, Benjamin.
I see you on screen, man.
You didn't got called the full name, Benjamin.
You gonna do my whole government name? But listen, though, yeah, man. So I just needed to tell you that because I know I'm gonna see you later on, and I don't want you to be looking for that sauce and then run up on me because the sauce is worth that. But I digress. Listen, man, we got a whole lot of interviews, and I want to start this morning with a brother who's been covering some issues that I think are very important for us to discuss. Brother Maurice Weeks. He's co-executive director of the Action Center on Race and the Economy. I want to bring him onto the screen now to discuss our continuing focus on Amazon following the urine bottle campaign. We caught video of several Amazon employees having to urinate inside of their trucks in order to get their deliveries on time. Brother Maurice, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I know you have your young child with you, and you just heard my 3-year-old. My kids are right here next to me, so you're in good company. Feel free to let your kids run free. That said,
right.
Tell us about your work, what you're focused on, and how it intersects with what we're going on, our ongoing coverage, rather, of Amazon.
Sure, yeah. So ACRE, the Action Center on Race and the Economy, we focus on just things that are at the intersection of race, racial justice, racism, and systemic things in our economy that, specifically extract from Black people, other people of color. That has really quickly led us to focus on Amazon, which is, obviously one of the largest corporations in the world. And as some of your coverage in the past has shown, really mistreats their folks, especially the folks who are towards the bottom of the company, the folks that individuals might interact with the most, their delivery drivers, the folks in warehouses, et cetera. We're a part of this coalition called Athena, which is, designed to take it on, in particular, lots of other organizations, and coming at it from lots of different perspectives. So that's kind of where we're coming at the org.
And that's where we connected with you. I've connected and worked with colleagues with Raphael Shimonov, comms director for Athena, and that is the coalition that you're talking about. It's made up of 50 grassroots organizations with over 1 million frontline members pressuring for regulation of Amazon and big tech in general. In recent developments, Color of Change has joined the effort, and now the effort is coalescing around ReinInBigTech.org. Tell us about the push and what we should expect as individual consumers of technology from this push to protect us from big tech.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people interact with Amazon, and they look at it as just another place to buy goods. In fact, over half of the goods that people buy online are from Amazon. So that's normally how people interact with it. What they don't realize is that that's just one part of their business. We can get into the ways in which that part too is relatively insidious. But Amazon, the way that I'm talking to you right now through the Zoom app, the way that we're streaming, our city's budgets, our environment, the way that our government operates, all of these things are things that Amazon really directly impacts. And, it's not just their hundreds of thousands of workers, but they run the infrastructure of the internet. They have such a vast distribution network that, small decisions that they make about how they operate it have huge environmental impacts. It's just such a behemoth company. You talk about monopoly, they're kind of a monopoly of monopolies. They have so many different pieces of it that they run that, it's not just people go on and buy diapers sometimes to get them in 2 days. That's not just that. It's so much more. And we have to, because they're so large, they are of the opinion that they're too large to be governed. And, that's one of the things that we're pushing back against, that, no company is too large to be governed by the people. And we have to really check them to make sure that we are able to control them.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And I'm glad you framed it like that, because it's not just the Amazon. See, the most visible part is when anybody who's listening, they could pull up to a gas station where they see all the Amazon Prime trucks, and you can see the physical oppression if you ask them to show you their pee bottles, because that's all I did. That's all I had to do. Now, the flip side of it is the entire backbone of the internet is run by Amazon Web Services. I mean, anyone who's done any major type of production on the internet understands that they're one of the key conduits that you have to go through. I want to shift gears to one component that we have a fighting chance of fighting back. Amazon is a monopoly. And like you said, it's a monopoly of monopolies. But it's also a monopoly that's been able to get away without being unionized. And one of the brothers that we've interviewed several times, Christian Smalls, had some success this week in making a move towards unionization. Let's take a listen to this clip.
Amazon workers give organizing another try. Employees at a cluster of warehouses in Staten Island filed a petition with the National Labor Relations Board's regional office in Brooklyn this week, requesting an election to form a union. Some dressed in costumes resembling the tracksuits worn by characters in the show Money Heist. The effort, called the Amazon Labor Union, is headed up by Chris Smalls, a former Amazon employee who was fired at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic after organizing a protest over the lack of protective gear and hazard pay for warehouse workers. It marks the latest in a series of attempts by Amazon workers across the country to organize in order to demand better working conditions. But it's not just Amazon. A wave of workers from a wide array of companies have taken to picket lines throughout the month, a phenomenon being dubbed Striketober. So far, there have been 184 strikes just this year alone.
So there's action, Brother Maurice. Talk to us about the different actions, but more specifically, what do the people need to know from your perspective, from your work, from your research, when we're dealing with Amazon that everybody loves because it's so easy and it's basically a search engine for junk and people love to go in there and just find stuff? What do the people need to understand about the critical nature of this present moment?
Yeah, I would say the main thing is, I'm seeing clips of Amazon's director, Jeff Bezos, on the screen, and he pitches himself and the company as, this brilliant entity that is using, technology and computer science to create this infrastructure web that, can get us the things in 2 days, and you can find every single thing that you're looking for. And I think what some of the recent stories that have come out have shown, and some of your work has shown, is that actually is not, brilliant technology. It relies on lots of exploitation of workers, lots of exploitation of workers of color in particular. There's a story in the New York Times just, this week of They don't even operate their paid leave system inside of their warehouses correctly. Wow. It has people, marked as no-shows, and that they took 6 days when they weren't supposed to.
So their technology isn't even all that.
Their technology, right? Exactly. They can focus on the technology that can, maybe get Bezos into lower space. But when it comes to the workers, the main thing that they're focused on is mistreatment. And I think that we're seeing that around the country. And, there's been some action federally. The House Antitrust Committee has really taken on big tech, and is focused on Amazon, and has even passed some bills to rein in, some of their power. But what we need to do is, we're just scratching the surface here. We can't have a company. I really like getting my goods in 2 days too, but I'm not willing to have a company that, does that and provides this infrastructure on the backs of workers overheating, workers getting COVID, workers peeing in bottles while they're delivering things. It's just unacceptable. So we have to make sure that we have some more democracy in this economy, and that means really breaking up this company that's too big to govern themselves.
I absolutely love that language, brother. And I'm so glad Brother Raphael connected us together. Could you tell everyone how they can get up with you and support these efforts?
Yeah, absolutely. So our coalition, Athena for All, you can type it into Google, athenaforall.com. You can go to our coalition website. My organization, ACRE, the Action Center on Race and the Economy. You can reach us at acrecampaigns.org. There's many chances to fight this behemoth. So next chance you get, head to the streets.
Head to the streets, and also head to a physical store, so long as they have masks and social distancing. Get off of Amazon. Hey, Brother Maurice, thanks so much for joining us. DJ Exclusive, let's go to a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to be speaking with none other than my wife, Jada Dixon. She's going to be our community outreach coordinator for the show, and we're starting right in our own community here in Atlanta, what we're doing here for children during the pandemic on this upcoming quote-unquote Halloween weekend. We'll be back with more of the Benjamin Dixon Show right after this.
All right, y'all, make sure y'all stay tuned. Ben is going to be really behave, because Jada is coming on and we can't wait to see it, y'all. Had to call. So good morning, everybody. Make sure that y'all stay tuned. We got some more interviews coming up next, y'all. Good morning.
We on the block like every night to catch a buzz. Get the cash and tell my family of the hood. That's a must. Hood baby.
Laura Strada, good morning to you. Good morning.
No, I should have died. That's why it's hard to stay sober. Glad to see the sun, but my heart
Lewis,
getting
good
colder.
morning.
It's so crazy what we been through. When you die on the time, they gon' miss you. So my mama, no more tears, no more tissue. We was just on hood, baby, with some issues. Hood, baby, from the struggle. Long time I had a hustle. Glad we made it through. I'm just glad we made it through. Hood, baby, from the struggle. Long time I had a hustle. Glad we made it through. I'm just glad we made it through. Pull up in that rain, see me ballin', yeah. 30 feet on my wrist like I'm Harden. Either they love me or I'm a target. Cause I told me you flawless. I've been busy and picking up when you callin'. And on purpose, I hate the fact when you talking.
Oh my gosh, everybody. I forgot to tell y'all. I had the worst night last night, man. Oh my gosh, let me tell you about the night last night. So, the ghost of Gloria Gaynor appeared in my bed, in front of my bed last night. It scared the mess at me. At first I was afraid, then I was petrified. Y'all know I don't have no sense at all. Come on, people. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Got more coming up next. Y'all stay tuned. I even got Georgia Fort with that one. Lily, good morning, Lily.
Baby, from the struggle, long time had a hustle. I'm glad we made it through. I'm just glad we made it through.
Marquez, not you won't survive. Marquez, you already know me. You better stop there. All right, so y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. We get some more stuff set up in the background, and we'll be back. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. I don't care about the Brother Latif, what's going on? What matters not me. I'll tell you these in the building. Yeah, what's going on? Good morning. I just need you by my side. Y'all know y'all like my jokes, man. Y'all shut up. Until the day I die. Ever since you found me, we the only thing I see. Forever and a day, it's you and me. And they can replicate this unity. No pressure. I can see them watching and they try to do better. But you one in a million, you ain't average. Girl, I promise I'ma have you living lavish. Take a trip, girl, we're about to vanish. I'll go anywhere, anywhere. Just as long as you with me. Cause girl, I know that you get me. So I'll go anywhere. Dwayne. So I'll go anywhere. Cause I'll go. So I'll go anywhere. I don't even care about the way they're looking at us. Cause I know they wish they had it and they know we doing damage to the game. I don't care about the stereotype. I can never do it mono, we the stereotype. I'm talking left, right, left. I got another question though. Can like someone please tell me what the lowest rank in the Army is? Because every time I ask someone, they tell me it's private. I mean, I don't know. It was an easy decision, I had to marry it. Honeymoon, I'ma put you on a chariot. And they don't make them like you no more. Pressure. See them watching and they try to do better. But you one in a million, you ain't average. Girl, I promise I'ma have you living lavish. Take a trip, girl, we're about to vanish. I'll go anywhere, anywhere. Just as long as you with me. Cause girl, I know that you get me. So I'll go anywhere. Cause I'll go. So I'll go anywhere. Cause I'll go. So I'll go anywhere. Cause I'll go. See the low frequency, I'm not playing with you this morning. And then I did get it. Right? So I told my cat that I'm going to teach him English. And y'all know the cat looked at me and said, "Ni hao." I'll go anywhere. See, the longer that y'all got me on this screen, the longer I'm gonna tell y'all some dad jokes, man. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. I'm just picking another song right now. I know y'all love me. Y'all do. What would y'all do without me? Probably nothing, but who knows? This one is for Ben, brother Ben. This song is for you, brother. I mean, not because it's a funk jam, not as never mind. It's okay.
Baby, you set my soul on fire. And maybe we can't get any higher. But if you like to take a ride, we can discover what we're hiding. Maybe move it sure looks good. Playing it cool like you know you should.
Y'all got me acting up like this and we have company brother Benjamin Dixon.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It is Thursday, October 28th, 2021. We're coming up to the 9 o'clock hour on the East Coast. We're going to be joined momentarily, again, by my wife. So, James, yes, I am on my best behavior, not just because my wife is here, but my pastor is possibly going to be here in a moment if we can get past the technology hurdle. That said, yes, we are going to be on my best behavior, James.
Ben, they already know. The spirit knows, brother.
You mean I can't? You mean
you can't go there?
I can't front? I can't shuck and jive and pretend as though I'm a good, upstanding citizen, man?
Nope.
Not the way my Twitter, not the way my social media presence has been lately, man. I've been giving these people hell on. Like, I'm filibustering a little bit, but I do want to share this with you. Like, we kept talking about Amazon, we keep talking about technology, and James, you know firsthand how much we're fighting against YouTube, how they've been demonetizing all of our videos. Well, on the flip side, I actually found a way to hack Facebook. Facebook gave me a couple ways of hacking them, and man, my junk is just popping up in everybody's timeline. I'm clowning Ted Cruz in real time. I'm having to go up against Rand Paul and his lies in real time. And the great thing about it is, like, you know, I can't pull up in person because of the pandemic. When the pandemic is over, I think every single journalist needs to be pulling up on these politicians and asking them and confronting them about what they are doing to harm the American people. In the meantime, that Facebook comment section has been getting a lot of miles for me lately, man. It's been kind of fun. That said, we got a whole lot to cover.
Facebook gangster.
I mean, no, man, I really would rather anyway, my wife is here and my pastor is here. So we'll talk about that in the after party. Patreon.com/the BPD show and patreon.com/like it or not. Also coming up at the 9:15 block, we're going to be speaking with Sister Olay Olurin. She is the public defender from New York City. And we saw earlier this week the pictures from Rikers Island. The images were graphic of bodies, black men, young black men who are still in their clothes. James, some of these kids were just picked up off the street. They weren't processed. They weren't charged with anything. And they are in holding, but they're packed in Rikers Island in holding like it was a slave ship. That's how much their bodies are packed on top of each other during a pandemic. So we're going to confront that head on. Rebecca Azora is going to be coming in with Like It or Not, and she's going to be speaking to friend of the show, Olay Olurin, about what's going on at Rikers Island. Also, a couple more announcements. The Halloween party, patron party, tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. 8 p.m.
8 p.m. We're good to go. 8 p.m. to midnight. We are going to be partying, dress up. James, did you decide on your costume?
Oh, yeah, I got mine already.
Oh, you already said? I haven't gotten mine yet, so I'm going to figure something out today because I know if I don't come dressed up tomorrow, the patrons from all across the globe, I'm going to be getting hell from Australia, UK. The UK is going to be clowning me because I'll be the only person not dressed up. So patreon.com/like it or not.
You're going to get hell from Atlanta, Georgia, from Rebecca and I.
So what you're saying is I better dress up. All right. I got it.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I think I'll go get me some white sheets. That's all I need. I'm going to pull the white sheets off of this bed here at this hotel and dress up like Senator Joe Manchin.
If you come in this studio with a white sheet on, Benjamin, you better put some thought in this costume. You only got one day, so I don't know what you're going to do.
It's a real costume. All right, I tell you what, we're still waiting on the technology hurdle for my pastor. But that said, we have Jada, my wife. Everybody who has watched the show for any amount of time knows Jada. What's that, James? Before I move,
you're about to say filibuster, Ben. Yeah.
Oh, filibuster a little longer. Okay, see, this is what happened. I was reading Slack and I was listening to David, and that's what I get for listening to a white man. No, I'm joking. Is today Friday? No, today is Thursday. I'm one day ahead of all this. Listen, the reason I'm bringing on my wife, let me just set it up properly, because James, one thing I noticed is there's a disconnect in terms of politicians, in terms of media, and the community. And what I don't want, the very last thing that I want this show to be is to be one of those shows that is isolated and alienated from the public, from the community. I want us to literally be 10 toes deep, man. So I that's why we're bringing Jada in to help us to connect with the community. She's a prolific community organizer. She's always in the streets, and she's always connected to organizations, civic organizations, sororities, fraternities, religious institutions, and how they connect to the community to help, specifically in this case during the pandemic. So Jada's going to be connecting us with sororities, with the barbershops, with all the black stuff, man. We got to get get inserted into the community the way we know how, James.
Absolutely. I agree, man. So I can't wait for this to come through.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben, you don't hear me?
No, I don't hear you. I'm just saying.
Four,
yeah.
5, 6.
You know, I'll fake it. I'll fake it till I make it. Either way it goes, I know you said something prolific, James, and I appreciate it.
I didn't.
You didn't? You didn't say anything prolific?
I was like,
go to a break.
Right, and I can't wait.
We're going to go to a break because this next important conversation is important. We're going to set it up, and I want to take the time. Technology is a monster. Zoom is still 2021. You're on mute in Zoom, sis. You're on mute in Zoom. We got to work around those hurdles. James, take us to a quick break. We filibustered. When we come back, we're going to be talking about community engagement and how we're engaging our children during the pandemic. We'll be back right after this.
Oh man, when I tell you it was some dead air right there, if I was at work, I would have got dinged for dead air. So thank you for letting me fail my carpet.
Tell me what it is. What you want?
Hey man, so y'all stay tuned. We get everything together, y'all. So this is a short break.
Tell me what it is. Don't tell me what it is. They try to throw salt, it just make the pressure raise. Going through a phase, gotta get myself out it. Don't talk about it, boy. They said you gotta be about it. So I be trying to face the world head on. Front seat riding, cruising down the meadows, pedal to the meadow. Cool breeze blowing down the windows. Calm trees blowing trees. Get that boy some headroom. On the interstate in traffic, but I swerve. I was supposed to move for the night. What's the word now? What's the links? Hit me up, we could go now. I got hella pieces, she got hella features. Shimmy hella geeked up, she be blowing shisha. Reefer on me loud, hope them boys don't creep up. I don't know a thing if you do not speak up. In my own world, I don't try to girl. Tell me what you want. Don't be tryna front like I ain't what you want. I ain't here to stun, let me take you out for lunch. I'ma get you drunk, yeah, filling on your buns. Licks in the blunt, I got ash in my cup. All these girls showing up, but I don't give a fuck. Cause you the one I want, girl, you the one I want. Girl, you the one I want. Hey, come and show me love. Shorty wanna be a rider, and I'm feeling high, I can't deny it. She a bad joint named Maya, and when I seen her, man, she look fire. She got me feeling higher than a sour, so I'm tryna feel how I feel inside her. I asked her what she doing, she like nada. So she just chillin', about to get up in the shower. I said, alright, cool, I'ma be there in an hour. I just wanna live like a Kuna and Matata. I ain't got no time for no baby mama drama. All about my comments, my letters, no tomatoes. Always bragging what they got up in they wallet. Ain't no really telling if we let us see.
Alright, y'all welcome back to the screen. My brother from another mother. I told you it was gonna be a short one, y'all. Welcome back, Benjamin Dixon.
Welcome back, everybody. Again, let's jump right into the conversation. I want to bring on the screen my wife, Jada Dixon, and our pastor, Pastor Pr.Dailey, pastor of Friendship Community Church in Atlanta, Georgia. I'd like to say Atlanta. I guess they could Google it and figure out exactly where we are, Pastor. That said, Jada, thank you for joining us. Pastor Dailey, thank you for joining us. Tell us about... First, Pastor Dailey, I want to begin with you, and we're going to get to the event that's coming up this weekend because we're excited about it, and we're going to be there. But I want to talk first about all of this organizing in the pandemic. It's been really difficult from a church perspective because we've been able to see all the pastors online, and they've been telling us about the difficulty of keeping their membership together and keeping their community, quite frankly, because a lot of the churches don't just serve one particular house, they serve the entire community. How have you and the ministry been able to stay rooted with your members through this pandemic when so many people have gone back, but your congregation, you all have not gone back yet?
Right. Well, we have really tried to be as socially responsible as possible throughout the course of the pandemic. And, what I've noticed is it kind of varies from region to region. those congregations that are in areas that are more hard hit or have been hit harder, or that are led governmentally by persons that maybe are a little bit more socially responsible. What I've noticed is that those congregations tended to be a little bit more conservative in regard to the timeline for going back into worship. And what I'm beginning to see amongst many of my colleagues is that late fall, winter is the time frame that a number of churches are beginning the process of going back in. But one of the ways in which we've been able to stay connected to our parishioners is by way of technology. You know, this has been, we have been living we have a Commodore's theology, Zoom. You know, I mean, it's just been all about Zoom over the past 18 months. And so, I mean, that's just what we've been able to do. So we have our worship experiences that take place on our social media platforms, YouTube, the other one, whatever it's going to be called, but I just call it the other one. But we have to stay on the other one because a lot of people are on the other one. So, but you can find us.
Oh no, you gotta go. Yeah.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Ben?
You gotta go where the people are, and that's one of the things that I appreciated about a lot of the churches at the beginning of the pandemic got the picture that they needed to shelter in place. There were a lot of churches of a different persuasion that never shut down, but we did. But now on this side of the pandemic, I've seen a lot of churches, even black churches, they're starting to go back, and that bothers me because a lot of children haven't gotten the vaccine yet, and there's still a lot of elderly people at a lot of these churches. What went into your decision and the church's decision to not go back in person while there's so many other churches going back?
Well, you hit the nail on the head. There's so many children who are unvaccinated, and the combination of that with the Delta variant it made it for us. It made it really a no-brainer. So what happened back in July, prior to the Delta variation or Delta variant becoming predominant, we did a survey, and about 40% of our parishioners said, hey, go back in January 2022. That was about 40% of the congregation. That was prior to the proliferation of the Delta variant. And so, once the Delta variant became the predominant strain and we began to see ICU hospitalizations skyrocket, and then when we began to see the deleterious effect that the Delta strain was having on our children, it made it a no-brainer. And so we're in the preparatory stages of getting ready to come back into in-person indoor worship, but it is only because we see the infection rate going back down, and we are awaiting approval from the FDA, emergency approval for vaccinations for children 5 to 11, and so that will take care of a large swath of our communities that are yet unvaccinated. And we're also hopeful that, children from 2 years of age on up will be able to receive the vaccine shortly thereafter. And so with those strategies in place, we feel a little bit more comfortable. And we also know from some of the data that we've seen from congregations that have gone back in from other regions in the country, it's slow. It's kind of like the children of God leaving Babylon, going back into Judah. It will happen in waves. And so there will be a Zerubbabel wave, Ezra, and a Nehemiah wave. And so we're preparing.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing, Pastor Dailey, because I'm like, you just exegeted a text in like 2.5 seconds for the whole audience. Y'all go grab your Bible so you can understand the third wave of liberation that he's talking about. I want to bring Jada into the conversation because Jada, you obviously You know, the Benjamin Dixon Show exists because of you. But one of the things we're focusing on is community engagement. We're focusing on making sure that this show is acclimated and inserted into the various communities, namely churches, civic organizations. But then specifically coming up this weekend is an event that demonstrates how Pastor Dailey and Friendship and other churches can, and institutions in general, can model safely engaging your community in the pandemic without exposing them to the coronavirus. Tell us about Kids and Candy, what's coming up this weekend, and how you all are safely facilitating this encounter with the public.
Absolutely. So with Friendship Community Church, as Pastor has mentioned in speaking, that we are finding innovative ways to engage the church, but in a safe manner. So this Sunday, we're having at 9:30 lawn chairs and worship experience, where everybody can come, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your community members, your lawn chairs, enjoy a great worship experience. Pastor Dailey never delivers a bad word. Everything is always on point and on time. You're not going to be disappointed. That's right. Immediately following that worship experience, we are continuing with that innovation and providing an alternative, what we like to call the fall celebration. And so through that fall celebration, what we're going to do is a Kids and Candy drive-by. So that would allow families as well as the kids to safely participate in games, have some popcorn, have some cotton candy, as well as pick up their treats. As safe as possible. There's, that's like the ultimate meaning of social distancing. Everybody will be in their own cars, moving forward, moving around the church. And then they'll also get an opportunity to meet some of the ministries that are geared towards our children and youth, such as our children's ministry, our youth ministry. We also have a grandparents ministry. So we're doing innovative things at Friendship Community Church to make sure during this pandemic, we are engaging and involving the community. And so, and that's with Pastor Dailey's leadership and the church office and the church administration that we're able to do those things. And we want to continue those things and hopefully motivate those in the community to do the same, to think of other alternatives that are possible.
Yeah. Pastor Dailey, I know you have to get out of here. I want to ask you this last question, and then if you would tell everyone how they could not only support this upcoming event, but support further outreach like this from Friendship. But could you just help us? One of the things that we focus on in the show a lot is getting people vaccinated. One of the issues that I have found quite often is that there is a religious component to people saying they don't want to get vaccinated. Now, I'm not like Brother Mac, who's on our show, who is a Sunday school dropout. I've actually studied, I'm pretty in depth into the Bible and all that stuff. I just can't find a religious justification in terms of just like a wholesale, maybe somebody's particular interpretation, and we'll respect that. That's fine. But I don't see a wholesale statement from the Bible saying that we shouldn't get vaccinated. Could you address just briefly the fears that people have and how religion is sometimes being used to block people from going to protect themselves from COVID-19?
Sure. Typically what we do is we misuse religion. And I use that word intentionally. We misuse religion. We misuse religious beliefs in order to be able to support what we think. So I don't want to get a vaccine, not me personally, but this is what the person says. I don't want to get a vaccine. So let me find any reason that I can possibly find, real or not real, that can support my reason for not wanting to do something. It's no different than when one of your kids and one of my kids says, I don't want to do something. They come up with any old excuse. And it's a shame because there are some leaders that lean on this kind of human behavior in which people just kind of grasp at anything. I mean, we saw that in the last presidential administration. People say, oh, he's our Cyrus. He's our this. No, he's not. He's a bad guy.
That's
period.
right.
And so There's nothing biblical. As a matter of fact, I would go so far as to say is, biblically speaking, what Jesus says is, I'm going to boil all of this thing down into something very, very simple. He was asked, what is the greatest commandment? Out of 613 do's and do nots, what's the greatest? He said, love God and love people. And on his way to the cross, he simplified it even further. He said, love one another. That's it. And so one of the greatest expressions of love that we can show in regard to our communities is by being socially responsible. And one of the most socially responsible things that we can do in 2021 is to be vaccinated, is to not pass on this virus to others who are more vulnerable in our communities. And so I just completely dismiss any religious, theological excuse for not getting vaccinated. There is no biblical, theological, religious support for Christian support for not getting vaccinated. I can tell you that for a fact.
Hey, y'all better come a little closer and listen to this black man. Pastor Dailey, go ahead.
No, it just
go ahead. I'm sorry.
It just is, you know, we see just how destructive this virus has been in our communities in particular, and I can go further, but it's just it's a shame.
Well,
however,
it's a shame.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell the people how they can get up with Friendship and how they can support the event that's coming up this weekend. And Jada, thank you so much for helping coordinate this.
Well, listen, your wife, Sister Jada, has just been absolutely awesome. She is our Children's and Youth Ministries administrator. And I'm looking forward to this Sunday. And this is another way in which we have been able to keep the congregation together. It's by coming together safely in a social distant outdoor experience. And so this Sunday, again, 9:30 here at 4141 Old Fairburn Road, put Atlanta, Georgia into your GPS. 4141 Old Fairburn Road, Atlanta, Georgia, 30349 is the location. And if you are not in the Atlanta area, just drive up here. You know, I mean, just come on. But no, if you can't drive on Sunday, then be sure to check us out on Facebook. Just search for Friendship Community Church on Facebook, as well as on YouTube. Again, search for Friendship Community Church, 9:30 each and every Sunday.
Pastor Dailey, Jada Dixon, thank you all so much. And I don't know that I'm going to be there Sunday, only because now that you've given them the address, I got a lot of internet trolls who would probably like to meet me there. So I'm not going to be there, but I expect everybody else in the area, y'all come on out there, and it's a safe it's socially distanced. And I'm honestly tired of seeing all these churches have all these extra funerals because pastors are just trying to get them back into the sanctuary. So thank you for what you're doing, Pastor Dailey. Jada, thank you for what you're doing. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Olay Olurin is here. We're going to Like It or Not, and we're going to talk about what's happening at Rikers Island. It is atrocious. We'll be right back after this really quick break.
Y'all know what time it is. Good morning, y'all. Get your coffee, your tea, your remix, whatever it is you need. It's time for Like It or Not, y'all. 9 a.m. to 10:30. Yeah, Like It or Not is on your channel.
Me. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. All these neck
well, that just worked out perfect because I was just saying a whole bunch of nothing saying, and I skipped the song until we were ready to go. Everything, so everybody's like, okay, the song just stopped. Maurice, good morning. Cardi Wing, Goku, good morning, Goku. Kareem Ransom, good morning. I'm about to go Goku. Afraid Not, what's going on? Mother and Father, good morning, Mother and Father. So good to see you this morning. Lee Burnham, what's going on? Tyler Hackman, I talked to you out earlier. I know that you were in the room yet. Rosie Bean, good morning.
And me, I get hectic. I survive through the wreckage. Should go look for the exit. New sheriff in town, I get a little reckless. Mr. Memo, go check the message.
Jonathan Guerrero, good morning. Hollywood, what's going on, Hollywood? Ira G, good morning.
Too much game for your league. I'm Hussein with Steve. Hussein on beats. Legendary and everything you aim to be. I'm insane and free. You can't tame the beast. Enemy, enemy. All these niggas just wanna be a mini-me. All these niggas just wanna be a mini-me.
Chuck Deuce, that's all you gotta do. You gotta warm the lamp up first before you just start getting sleazy with it, okay? So warm the lamp up, you know, get the lights of the room on first. I slow down too early. Then you just gotta get the roll on with it. Then you can't start breaking it down until like it's not coming, right? No. Afraid not, you're terrible. All right, now, y'all ready for this jam? Dwayne, should I give the people what they want?
Y'all know what time it is. Good morning, y'all. Get your coffee, your tea, your remix, whatever it is you need. It's time for Like It or Not, y'all. 9 a.m. to 10:30, yeah. Like It or Not is on your channel, yeah. Politics and culture is we change scan like we're supposed to, yeah. Interviews and all the news, we get to choose what gets the views. Like It or Not with Queen Azor, it's starting now, so stick around.
Like it or not, it's going down.
You ain't gotta say nothing more. You just close your eyes and roll.
Y'all stick around. Oh, Rebecca Azor is coming through. You know she got a good story for you. Oh, Benjamin, that's my dog. This is his show. He's a politics pro. I am your DJ. DJ exclusive. Y'all know who I am.
I stay dropping them jams.
Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, y'all stick around. Oh, like it or not, it's starting now. Like it or not,
it's about to go down.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Let's move as quick as we can to Olay.
I got you.
Good morning, everybody. Oh my God, look at this hat, Jesus.
Good morning and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth
and not care who doesn't like it. Good morning, Olay. And yes, this is a Rattlers hat. And listen, in the background, Dwayne gonna talk about, it looks like your hat been through some things. Yes, this hat been through some things. This hat got 12, 13 years old. Okay, I had this hat when I was first on the hill as a little teenager. Yes, it's been through some things.
Don't let them stop you.
Sister, first of all, let's Olay, how you doing this morning, sister?
Good, I'm up, I'm here.
Good.
Listen, thank you so much for your patience. You know, we've had a busy load this morning, and you're a friend of the show. So when we bring you in, we just bring you in. We don't even do like a whole formal introduction. We just say, hey, Olay is here, y'all. Olay is here.
Hey, y'all.
But the reason we brought you in today, as much as we like to laugh, oh man,
right.
What's going on at Rikers is atrocious. Help us out.
Listen, the last time I was here, I told y'all it was a human rights crisis and we were at 12 deaths. We're at 14 now. So what does that tell us, right? It's continuing to escalate and get worse, and yet they are not decarcerating. And it's abhorrent, right? Like how many, Raheem. I'm sorry, Mike. Not Raheem.
Is that your cat? Is that your cat? Because listen,
not Raheem trying to get on the show, Olay.
Between your cat, Olay, my kids, and our other guest kids, this has been a wild show. How's your cat doing?
Listen, I'm saying, I think he thinks if I'm up, I should be feeding him. My man grabbed my toe like this with the strength just now. I felt that in my mouth.
Wait, give us I need the audio. Wait, we'll get to Rikers because Rikers is there. Is the cat still there, Olay? Is he still there attacking you?
He's a terrorist.
What about the full screen? Full screen.
Girl, why is look? They trying to cover.
It's like your cat is in the witness protection agency.
They don't want us to see the cat, child. The cat is a minor. They don't not want us to see the cat.
Oh my God!
Cat is blurred.
My apologies.
That's hilarious.
I'm gonna keep my toes to myself.
Okay. All right. So your toes were just attacked by your savage cat. No problem.
Yes, exactly.
It's that kind of day. It's that kind of day. But you're a public defender in New York, and you know firsthand how Rikers, and not just Rikers, but Rikers seems to be like the epitome of the abuse of this criminal justice system. Tell us about all the stuff that you've been covering, and we have some clips and we have some footage of all the new stuff that's coming out of Rikers, all the bodies piled up on top of each other.
So listen, I've been saying since last year, and I'm actually really glad that the pictures came out because I think people think you're being hyperbolic. I've been saying that the cells have 40, 50 plus people in it in the middle of a pandemic, that they've been moving COVID people into general pop. I've been describing it exactly like this a year ago, me and every other public defender, and we're just being ignored so much by, I think people have a faith in the criminal system in this way, or in their legislators. They believe if something is truly that outrageous, right, it would be being addressed. It would be being treated like it's this human rights crisis that it is. So when we were describing exactly what you're seeing in those photos, just falling on deaf ears. And so I'm glad that people can see now that what we're saying is happening is exactly what's happening, and the people we put in power are not doing anything about it, right? Because it's only been getting worse. Wow. It's been like this and getting worse since last year when they rolled back bail reform. They caused pretrial detention to spike like 70%. It's been this case. People have been dying, and it's 14. We're now up to 14 deaths this year, and yet judges are still setting bail. They haven't made any real major moves to decarcerate. They're still putting people in there on violations. It's a shame.
Yeah, and it's crazy, Olay, because just like you said, and you who are someone who is front and center of it, it's like when we were bringing up the photos on the other day, I was saying this is not anything new, because the article that I read that was from 2020, August of 2020, was discussing the same exact conditions, and yet nothing has been done. There is no change. There's no difference. It is literally the same, and it's so sad because nothing has been done. Nothing has been done since then. And even with these photos, do you think anything is going to change, even with these photos coming out?
No. And let me tell you why. Because at the end of the day, right, the legislators have seen this. This might be new to the public, but they know, they've heard. And our mayor, de Blasio, originally de Blasio didn't go. He hadn't been to Rikers since 2017, right? And so that's not really a defense to explain why because that shows how much you care at all, right? About your citizens, about the people incarcerated at Rikers, the fact that you didn't visit. But then upon the recent, humanitarian crisis and people complaining and, people talking about what's happening in Rikers and him getting criticized for the fact that he never returned, he visited, and other elected officials have visited. So they've seen it. They've walked the halls. They know exactly what's happening there. And yet de Blasio is still up there talking about, arresting people for riding ATVs and bikes and coming up with more foolishness to put people in Rikers like it's not already full. Like, let's not forget, we're looking at those cells that are full, but that's just, you're looking at a taste of it. They have people in shower stalls because there are no spaces in cells. There are more bodies than there are space. Yes. Isn't that insane? What? People are being kept in the showers.
in the
people are having to sleep.
Aren't they still running it in some way, shape, or form? Like some of the people on like a good Tuesday or Thursday because people aren't showing up to work. You have the inmates who are already living in poor conditions, having to run this system, and they're already having their rights taken away from them, where they don't even where they can't even make a phone call, talk to a lawyer, get any time to speak to somebody to free them. And now they're now they're running the jails.
Right. And let's not forget that on top of all of this, they've been being exploited for labor the entire time, right? As they always are, but especially in this pandemic. Originally, they had them making the masks, the sanitizer, everything that they couldn't use. We couldn't get them COVID testing for the longest. We had to fight. To get them testing, we had to fight. To get them vaccinated, we had to fight. For them to get any kind of medical attention right now. So imagine that on top of a pandemic where you're putting them in worse and worse and worse circumstances. Every time a story comes out about Rikers, it's worse, right? The last time I was here, I told you all about a 24-year-old autistic boy that died in Rikers recently, right? Now there's a 58-year-old man. They just took him off life support in Rikers because he tried to harm himself. And I said last time that people taking their lives because of conditions that they're left in pre-trial is not a suicide. That is a default. I said it last time and I'm going to say it again.
We got a couple of we have some clips here, Olay, I want us to play so the people can get a better but the one I did not know, they have people bodies piling up in showers to sleep. That is some ambitious, that is some that's a level of disregard for human life that I guess you would expect at this juncture at Rikers. I want to play this first clip, and it is the images of Rikers Island over the audio of New York State Senator Jessica Ramos. She's the chair of the New York Senate Committee on Labor, and she is speaking on what she saw during her visit to Rikers, even though de Blasio didn't go, he said, since 2017. My God. Let's watch this clip real quick.
My name is Jessica Ramos. I represent the 13th District in the New York State Senate. There's reports of chronic staff absenteeism, incarcerated individuals languishing in intake, self-harm, and more. What we witnessed was really nothing we could have possibly prepared ourselves for. There were about a dozen men that we saw packed into small cells with no beds. They're being deprived of food, water, showers, and medical attention. I met one transgender woman who had been misgendered and assigned to male housing and abused. Another individual with HIV hadn't received his medicine in over a week and was housed with other men who've contracted COVID-19. A few diabetics had not had their sugar checked in many days, and a handful of men I met had been unable to access the methadone clinic. I met a man who admitted he began cutting himself just so that he had open wounds that would get him to medics, and maybe he'd actually be given the medicine to treat his mental illness. I met another man who told me that he suffers from schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, but had not received medication in weeks. I even witnessed a man try to take his own life before our very eyes. Luckily, it didn't work. The violations of human rights taking place in Rikers Island are rampant. The population on Rikers is largely comprised of people who have not been convicted of crimes they've been accused of. We're talking about people who are too poor to post bail, which is why we're asking for cash bail to be eliminated. I chair the Labor Committee. I did want to speak up for the correction officers who deserve to work under safe conditions. I want to pitch, of course, my own bills, both the treatment not jails bill, and I carry the bill in order to do away with triple shifts. We have to refuse to be complicit in the system, each and every one of us. We cannot, shame on us for perpetuating this violence because it's cyclical. And we can't continue to pretend that anyone in this prison industrial complex is being rehabilitated or being corrected by any means.
I think that's a big point right there. They have the idea that, so you weren't here when I was discussing this, right? I reposted your photo, Olay, in my stories. And a friend of mine said, in the, regarding the video or the photo of them piled up on the ground, replied back to my story and said, hey, maybe if they're not doing any, if they stop doing crime. Listen, I could.
That's so stupid.
It was so just stupid, ignorant, stupid.
Yes.
And that's what I said. You're ignorant for that. And then I listed all the things that, the petty things that they could be in there for, and how they are the conditions, and how they're not given their rights, and how they're running the jail. Right. And the idea that you've done a crime, so you deserve to be in these type of conditions, possibly die because these conditions are inhumane. And also the idea that this is going to rehabilitate somebody who happened to, be late on a damn ticket or something. It's ridiculous. It's so stupid. It's so dumb.
People need to stop endorsing a criminal system that does not protect them, right? Like, it does not help you none to endorse the world that you're talking about. None of these people have been convicted of a crime, right? So let's first and foremost, right? What you're advocating for is a system where we allow people to we risk their lives based on accusations. That's what we're saying. So forget the presumption of innocence, forget any of that. We're saying that if you are accused of a crime in this country, it is acceptable for us to lock you up and risk your life in amidst a pandemic, right? That's what they want me to believe. Is that what I'm supposed to understand, right? That's okay. No, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's heinous, and I can't understand why people can't recognize that this doesn't do any good for anybody, right? Let's pretend, let's humor this idea that, this is what we need for the criminal system, right? If we say these people are just committing crime, let's say it's not out of poverty. Let's say it's not because they have a reason. Let's say there's no reason, no justification. They simply are lawless and they don't care about the society. So now when you lock them up, right, and you subject them to every kind of humanitarian abuse, what was described there in that audio we just listened is basically people having their lives put at risk, right? A lot of those people that were listed, that's a possible death sentence, right? So let's say they're all lawless people. They don't care. They don't respect the government. They don't respect the law. They don't respect our society, right? So we have them there. We subject them to this. This is how the government treats them. What exactly do we think they would do, right? When they turn around, we think they're going to be like, oh, yes, I've got it now. That government, that society that I already feel like didn't have my back, they definitely got it now. When they left me locked up in a pandemic, really subjected me to every level of humanitarian abuse, I'm gonna go out now. I'm gonna be a good citizen. All those problems I had before, they're gone now.
It don't work like that.
Is that what we think? Like, I'm just like, what world do you think this is? People can't, you're not actually locking these people up and throwing away the key. They're not disappearing. They don't evaporate. They gotta come back to the same society. Yeah. So all these people that you say are so bad, they don't belong here. Let's go lock them up and let's leave them there and let's let them languish away until they get a trial or whatever. So when they come back, what now? Your problem's fixed? Are your problems fixed? Are they better now, or are they just going to go back into the community?
All right, Olay.
You tired of these folks. Olay is tired.
No,
She's tired of dealing with this stupidness.
She gave us a strong Bahamian with a little bit of Nigerian in there. It was very soft. Like, what? What is it? Okay.
She said, what you're not going to do.
I'm so tired.
She said, this is so stupid.
Every day. So
See, Olay, I got to ask you. Let me ask you a specific question about what I heard the state senator say. And I think we already know this, but I think we got to point it out. These people have not been convicted of anything. And they're only there because they cannot afford to pay their cash bail. How is this acceptable in the country? How can we claim to be a country of due process when we got our boys stretched out in the showers because they can't afford to pay cash bail?
Stretched out in the showers, Jesus.
Exactly. I need people to pick which criminal system they endorse. I need them to figure it out, right? Because you need to stop picking and choosing, right? Because, you're all for the carceral system and incarceration and all that. What happened to the presumption of innocence? What happened to due process? What happened to a trial? What happened to any of those things? You don't believe in that? Oh, so you only believe in abuse. You only believe in punitive measures. Is that what it is? Is that what I'm to understand? It is absolutely nonsense. I can't even continue engaging them in good faith, but it's day to day. It makes me think of this. Whenever I have a white client, my white clients always call me this every day. And they say, so people can just lie on me and I can get arrested? Like every day they're blown away by this injustice. I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's kind of how it works.
I'm like, come with me. You see, that's a problem, right? People just saying stuff and now you in jail. That's an issue. Let's not endorse that system, right? Because it's all fun and games until you realize it could be you. The only reason people have this attitude is because in their minds, it doesn't apply to them. They think that people who are in Rikers or people that end up in jail or people who end up in the criminal system are these like mythical, fairy bad people that live on the outskirts of society. That's your neighbor. That's your cousin. That's your friend. Right. That could be you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You make the wrong move one day, you decide to have an attitude, you cut up with the wrong person, somebody decided to call the police. Now you right there. Now all of a sudden you want people like me to be advocating for your rights. I need people to stop switching up.
Do you see, Rebecca, why I was so paranoid on the beach in Jacksonville with that white cop? Nah, man, I'm paranoid for a reason. And I just can't believe these kids. And let me ask you a specific question. If theoretically we had enough cash to bail everybody out of Rikers, what would stop us? Or is the system just so cruel to us that even if we come up with the money, we can't get those boys and those people out?
I think we could get a lot of people out. There are people, obviously, that are going to be remanded, right? Remanded without custody, that they don't even give the option to get out, right? And I think that's an important thing no one discusses enough. I feel like whenever you see like white supremacists in the news and they get bail and the conversation becomes all around like, oh, we want them to be able to get bail. And yeah, okay, cool, because I do want a system where my clients can get bail. But what about the world in which a lot of my clients don't even have the option of bail? Like, we're forgetting that. Like, you see things like Rittenhouse, right? Do you think if that was a Black person who did that, they would have gotten a bail option, or would they have been remanded in custody? You see what I'm saying? So...
Speaking of Rittenhouse, Jesus, we have that case is a big cluster F going on in real time. We have a clip here of a judge saying that Rittenhouse, the people that Kyle Rittenhouse, that young white supremacist, white so-called supremacist, the people that he killed cannot be called victims, but the people that he killed during the trial, we're going to play the clip, during the trial, they can be called arsonists, looters, and rioters, but the people that this white man killed cannot be called victims. Let's take a look at that clip.
The word victim is a loaded word. And I think alleged victim is a cousin to it. Let the evidence show what the evidence shows, and if the evidence shows that any or more than one of these people were engaging in arson, rioting, or looting, then I'm not going to tell the defense they can't call them that.
Okay, Early Star co-anchor and attorney and legal reporter Laura Jarrett joins us now. Let me just make crystal clear what happened there in case people didn't get it. The judge just said that the people...
Listen... Yeah, get her out of here. She's cute though. She's cute, but not as cute as Olay. I'm just kidding. But
Hello,
listen, when it comes to
hold on, my bad, Rebecca. This is my Friday, but even CNN messes up and be having the wrong people on screen. So like that was a situation where Ben would have been talking, but you was on screen. That's what just happened with CNN. Sorry.
Yes, that's what I thought. I was like, this is weird. Why am I looking at her and hearing a man's voice? That said, Olay, but yeah. Why is? Go ahead, Rebecca. You know the question to ask.
Yeah, because I was talking before Dwayne cut me off, and then you took lead again.
Hold on. I tossed it back to you. God, you can't get nothing around black people. Go, Rebecca.
No, honestly, I think that this shows the same system that you're talking about, Olay. Everything is pretty much systemic. Everything is pretty much racist. Everything is pretty much lined up to benefit white supremacists. And I think when we see this and the fact that the system blatantly allows, right, this to happen, to say the people, and we know when we hear about like school shootings and mass shootings, because we can call this a mass shooting, right? That happened. Yeah. And when we hear about that, what we label those things and what we just started labeling those things for people who are Americans are domestic terrorists, right? We can label them terrorist, right? But now here, what they're telling us to do is not look at those people that Rittenhouse killed because they were protesting in the name of who, right? Or was it George Floyd? They were out there. This was during the whole damn pandemic, and they were out there risking their own lives. And this little white boy took to the streets to go kill people, to literally go do that, and then was treated amazingly after, walked over to the police car, talked to and coddled and everything like that. And here, now they're telling us to look at the victims as no face, no case. Like those people were nothing. They were just black people who were out there looting and doing crime. So they should do the time. Now, they're not even alive to tell their stories. So, I would say this is very systemic, the same way that you say, Olay. And what could be said that would be different in this moment from any representative when it comes to this case?
Right. Well, let me give you all my thoughts on this, right? Because this is all, public defender, Twitter, or whatever has been discussing for like the last 2 days, right? Let me give you all the thoughts. So typically it is a standard defense motion, right? Defense attorneys always make the motion that you don't call them victims because it's prejudicial. It's always denied, right? The only time I've ever seen it granted was in mock trial in law school. Every other defense attorney, even the ones arguing that we shouldn't be criticizing that this happened because we want this to happen for our Black clients, admit that they never see it happen for their Black clients, which is the point, right? If I say that the system is racist, if I say that the system maintains and upholds white supremacy, this is an example of it doing that, right? I can't be like, oh, I'm not upset they did this because I wish they would do it for my Black clients. They don't, and they won't, because the system is built to maintain and uphold white supremacy. So that is the point in illustrating it. So yeah, you're absolutely correct. It wouldn't happen otherwise. The judge, this isn't his defense, but this, for clarifying points. So he says that they can't say victim throughout the trial, like at the beginning, because what he's basically trying to say is it's too prejudicial. It's something for them to argue. And, if they've made that case by the time they make their closing statement, they can call them victims. Now, I do think that's underscored by the fact that, he says you can call them rioters, looters, and all these different things that are actually crimes that these dead people have not been convicted of, right? So let's just keep it G real. What's happening here is this is a white supremacist who did something in the name of white supremacy. So they're going to treat him like that and give him that benefit because they're fine with it. That's what it ultimately is. And me personally, I want to say this because I think there's been some confusion online. I'm a public defender and I'm an abolitionist, but I don't do nothing for white supremacists, all right? I don't defend them. I don't advocate for them. I don't mitigate nothing they did, not in or out of court, right? I believe you're entitled to all your constitutional rights and you will have them because let me tell you something. If there's one place a white supremacist is safe, it's a criminal courtroom. He has his lawyer. His rights will be defended. He will be afforded benefits and my clients won't be. So he do not need me and my advocacy. So I said what I said. Yeah. It's outrageous and I feel all your
Yeah. And so I love it. And so, Ben wanted to clarify for me that the people that were murdered in this particular case were two white people. Yeah. And Anthony Huber and Joseph Rosenbaum. So say their names, but because they were fighting, right? They were in some way an abolitionist as well for Black people. They were fighting for us. They were allies. So they do not want to say their names. We remember when that white woman walked up to the state capitol and she was shot and they wanted us to remember her name. She was the victim, although she was up there committing the crime.
What's her name again?
I don't know.
Don't get me started. Was it Abigail?
Abby? Oh, what, Abigail?
Was it Abigail?
I did not care.
And I'm not trying to laugh.
Agatha.
But I did not care.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do not care.
I do not care.
We going to hell.
When you're fighting for white people.
I don't care. She had a whole crew with her. She rolled up there with a whole squad. Let them care. Let them care. You don't need me. You don't need me to do like, what?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
When you're fighting for white rights, though. When you're fighting for white rights.
Why. Let me just articulate this from an intellectual perspective. Why? Just so it's not outrageous. Let me tell you why I don't personally care. I'm gonna tell you this. Because first of all, couldn't no group of Black people. I think when you make a conscious decision that you're gonna go storm the Capitol. What exactly is it that you think? If I were Black, what I would anticipate, every other Black person would have anticipated us all being gone. If the equivalent of Black masses went and did the same thing, it would be way more than one white person, one of us that's gone, right? So and ultimately, quite frankly, I don't have any sympathy to offer to white supremacists, period. You know why? Because a white supremacist doesn't care about my humanity. They don't care about me living, so they certainly don't care about me in death. And that being said, I don't root for nobody's demise. That's unfortunate that happened. However, she has community. She'll be okay.
Yeah, she's dead. She's dead. She's gone.
You know what I mean?
Oh, like
she's cool. God, we're all going to hell.
Oh my God!
Jesus.
My whole point was to say,
Rebecca, see what you did?
What's to say, it's the fact that that she can go up there and the system will call her a victim and somebody who fought for this country and all that, right? But when people are fighting for Black lives and Black situations and Black issues, when even if you're another color and you become an ally in any way, shape, or form, they will in turn make sure that you're at the bottom of the list. Like you are not, you may not be in that moment created equal when it comes to your white counterparts at that particular point. But because you're fighting for Black people. So
but
you're
that's
a traitor.
tale as old as time, right? before we had abolitionists, as we conventionally think of as people that want to eradicate this criminal system, in the history of the country, abolitionism was wanting slavery abolished, right? And white people that very much supported that movement, the same way white people that supported the civil rights movement were very much you're ostracized, right? You're not going against the home team. So that's what it is, right? So it doesn't matter that the victims in the Rittenhouse case are white, because we see the treatment that they're getting, because what they were doing was standing up for what they view, what the right, what the conservatives, what the white supremacists and stuff view as, black issues, and standing up for black people or whatever. So they're giving them the same treatment, right? The only thing different, the only benefit they're affording the white victims in this case is that they're not vilifying them. They're just not mentioning them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if they were black victims, we would have to spend all our time having to fight the narratives that they would be doing to tear them up in the media. But because they're white, they're like, all right, we won't give you your special benefits, but we won't vilify you and drag you either, because they're not going to do that to the white families and the white mothers and fathers like they do that to ours. So that's the only difference.
No, you're right on point with that one. We would have been seeing their mugshots. We would have seen them looking in any picture of them in a compromising position. They would have been black man, right? Black man killed. They wouldn't have even had their names respected. So you're so right, and that's the system that we have, and that is why. And I know that we like to say the system is broken, but it's designed to work exactly as it's been working. And that's under this white supremacy kind of idea. And that's what that's why even with Kyle Rittenhouse, that man is a terrorist. Because if it was a black 17-year-old boy, it would be a man already. Even if it was a 12-year-old boy, it would be a man. Right. So Kyle Rittenhouse is a man that did this crime, and he's a murderer. He's a terrorist. But I hate that because it has to do with us, that we have to look away. And this damn judge, you can tell this judge comes from. You can tell he is drenched in racism, white supremacy. And these are the people that are leading and are over our lives when it comes to us doing anything. They're the ones that can tell us if we can live or die.
Yeah.
These people.
And the reason why, and it's funny, the reason why they don't show us, like, I have not seen like the media really show us the two people that Rittenhouse killed since it happened. And you know why that is? Yeah. Because they don't want white people to remember that, right? Like as they frame this as like, this white supremacist and who the victims are, they're not plugged in, right? All the white people that you assume that they killed somebody black. Two people were killed at a Black Lives Matter protest, right? So if you don't mention it, white people don't have that same, energy for it. If they were showing these white victims, white people, even the ones that, don't typically be on our side of the fence might feel some type of way. They would get more people being like, because you didn't just murder two black people, you murdered two of their own. So they're not going to show you. It's the same way whenever they want to dehumanize, like, black people that were killed by the police or something. If it's not a national case for detention, they don't show you a picture. They don't show you anything but family or something like that, because they want to make it less real. In this case, what they're doing here is they rather the narrative just be a white supremacist killed two people at the Black Lives Matter movement. So the people that typically wouldn't care because they're black aren't going to engage for that reason, and the white people that would feel some type of way because these are white people aren't going to engage either because they don't know, because they weren't paying attention initially because they assume it's a black issue.
Yeah, because honestly, I really thought that they were black as well, too, until they posted the picture a few minutes ago. I didn't even know that they were two white people at all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If we have that picture, Dwayne, bring that picture up of the victims when you get a chance. Anthony Huber and Joseph Rosenbaum killed by that white domestic terrorist, Dylan. There's another white domestic terrorist, Dylan Roof. So many names. But I didn't think about that, Olay, that the America doesn't need for the rest of America to see that the victims of white supremacy also include white people.
And Ben, that's a point. And you're spitting, Ben. Exactly. That's it right there. You said it. You said it was good, concise. You got it, Ben.
I'm just sitting back. I'm sitting back here just collecting all y'all good ideas and putting them together at the end of the show. That's all. Here you go. Olay, we're at the end of the hour. Thank you so much for joining us this amount of time. Rebecca and James, I'm just giving my goodbyes. I'm ready to get out of here. But that said, Olay, what is coming up for you? And how should the people get up with you and support your work?
All the things.
No.
Wait a minute.
It's Friday, right? It's Friday. We ready to go, right?
Yes, we understand.
Today's not Friday?
Girl, today is Thursday, and I called you girl. Girl, today is Thursday, and the show don't end until 10:30. So you sit your little happy ass and behind this picture and just be still. Be still.
It's 9:57. What do you mean?
We don't know what's happening. I can't see his face to really see what's going on. I'm real confused right now, but
it's the clock. It's 9:50. What do you?
It is.
I hate y'all.
Olay, what do you have coming up next, girl?
And then she asked the same question I asked.
Let me see. I'm gonna be on Law and Crime today at 3:00. I'm gonna be on Law and Crime again tomorrow. I'm trying to remember. I have a bunch of stuff, really.
Girl, because you booked and busy, sis. You booked and busy.
You know, a little bit. You know, a little bit. So I have some stuff in the works. I have some articles about to drop. You know, I will make sure I give you all the immediate as soon as everything's out. But I have a couple of podcasts, a couple of shows, a couple of articles coming out. So I'm gonna give y'all. Y'all know y'all get first dibs. I'm gonna tell y'all.
Okay, because that's what. Listen, we don't, because we just see everything growing, and we're like, look at her. It's like, I live for it. I love it. And then I meant to tell you. So I know that I said to go with the straight weave, but the blonde hair is giving everything it needs to give.
Thank you. My
like
mama hates
dreads. I like it. And also, look, because I wanted to add, like, it's a girlfriend moment. So I met someone the other day, and he's from the Bahamas, and I would say, look, Reese, I was like, I got a friend. She from the Bahamas.
Tell me when we get off here, what's his name? Because I'm sure I feel like I know him. Like
you probably do. His family, you probably do. His family is Haitian, and he plays ball overseas. So you probably do. I don't know.
Which island is he from?
He said Abaco.
Oh, he's from Abaco. Okay, I might not know him because he's a family island, but I bet I know his people. People.
You probably do. You probably do. But we'll talk later, girl.
See, James.
Thank you all for having me as always.
Man, he play ball.
He play ball.
So he's like 6'9". He's 6'9".
Right. You know how Rebecca likes it. That's what I heard.
Yeah. That's all she had to say. We knew exactly what the qualifications were.
Right. Rebecca's like, he's a man.
He's a ball player. He's only 6'.
All right,
Olay, hey, sis, we love you. We always appreciate you.
Love y'all too.
Thank you so much, Olay.
Everyone.
Take care now.
Thanks, Olay.
Now, Rebecca, do I have permission to end the show? Get to the after
we're
party.
taking the after party. We're keeping it live, Ben, so you are still here with us.
The hell?
Well,
we had a whole day off yesterday. And Rebecca on her day off.
Get these boxes right, though, it's real ghetto right now. Once we're able to get, because that is not Olay right now.
Dwayne is
where's
You want me to comment for you?
Olay said she had to get the hell out of. She had to go to this appointment and save some people from Rikers. Man, that's some serious work.
Like, here they go being ghetto on Like It or Not, and she loves it.
It's okay. She love it.
You got to see her timeline. That's why y'all follow her on Twitter at Miss Allurin, and you'll understand she's in good company here.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, what we got for the after party and the patron party tomorrow night? Give them all the announcements, y'all. What we got coming up?
So tomorrow,
Dwayne,
we gonna miss you, man.
They couldn't hear that. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I didn't hear anything.
Hey, brother, Chuck Diesel, handle yourself, Chuck Diesel, please. Things and stuff.
Things and stuff got to go.
Rebecca, no.
I'm trying to.
Are we having a housekeeping issue?
Trying to keep it classy, so we still got a show on Monday. But
things and stuff.
Go ahead, step on out, brother.
Yeah, remove yourself before we remove you for you, brother. You don't want this smoke, man. Cause Bubba got tired.
After party, Patreon.
This is the after party. It's public today. Shit.
Oh, it's a bully in there. Who's bullying me?
Yeah, Bubba, give us a transition so we can switch some stuff up here.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's cut off. Things and stuff. Just bring him to the after party.
Yeah, sing them. Don't bring him to the after party, cause you got the wrong girl, my dude. Thank you, brother Chuck. We appreciate you. Whoever slayed that effing troll right there, man. You better, back up. We don't do that kind of talk in this chat room. Not to what my sister got your like effed up, man. You better be glad I'm trying to preserve myself. My mama is on this goddamn chat room, so I'm just trying to keep my mouth still. You better, roll up, bro. Roll up. Pull up. I'm gonna show you how the gays handle it.
I only love me. Don't get me wrong. You and I could have fun together when I feel done with having fun on my own. It's better to care for yourself than rely on somebody else. So
good, Rebecca, you ain't need to see it, cause now, hell no. I'm talking sister like that. I'm sorry, that was slipping. All right, y'all. The after party is staying public today, so y'all stay tuned, man. We got more coming up next. And remember, while you trying to be slick at the mouth, we can be slick at the goddamn mouth too. I got time. I be in the chat room like a mother. So when I see you, I see you. And then when Dwayne says something, oh yeah, it's on. Somebody get ghetto up in here, man. Ooh. Take it to the street.
This is my time. I'm feeling good. Rule every party. See how I shine when I'm alone. Nothing can stop me. You should go out, meet someone else, someone who gets you. Don't stick around. I'm pretty wild. I don't do monogamy. Don't get me wrong. You and I could have fun together when I feel done with having fun on my own. It's better to care
Nicole
for
Johnson, good
yourself
morning.
than rely on somebody else. So don't get me wrong. I'm just riding along. Just walk away, 'cause I got no intentions of hanging out with you tonight. Don't look my way. If you want a problem, I'll give you a problem, alright?
I told a few, but y'all want some more? Okay, cool. Let me see. So, what happened was, child, I keep animals in the house apparently. Cause sad news, I had a parrot and it was fat. So my fat parrot died yesterday. Mind you, it's a huge weight off my shoulders. A parrot sit on your shoulder. Oh, Jesus. Oh, yeah. So my other friend claims that he could communicate with vegetables because he's a so-called vegetarian or vegan or pesca. I don't know. He stopped eating meat. That's what they claim. But they claim that he yeah, I don't know. He say he can commute with the vegetables either way it goes. But his name is Jack, and Jack and the Beans talk.
I'm a
Rebecca asked for us, so I had to give it to her.
Never be you. Low me twos, no, I can't be fooled. Low me twos, no, I hate
right.
dudes. I'm a winner one, I can never be you. Anything you could do, I could do better.
Oh yeah, y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. We got some stuff coming up for you. After party, stay on public today, y'all. Give y'all what you need, and don't forget tomorrow. Y'all getting this free party, so y'all need to go ahead and sign up for the Patreon. Patreon.com/LikeItOrNot. Patreon.com/TheBPD Show. Halloween party tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Don't want to miss it. Go ahead and join so you can get access. Bring your costumes, and we want y'all to have y'all ass on the Zoom. We trying to fill that thing up, man. So y'all get ready to come jam. You have the costumes in. We're gonna have the best costume contest. See who's gonna win. It's gonna be me because I always win. So period. There it is. Y'all right, y'all. Let's get back to it, man. Y'all welcome back to the screen. Ben and Rebecca. Dwayne need to go ahead and turn his camera on too, man. We the after party.
Yeah, we ain't gonna see him for a while.
Nah,
yeah, man.
We need to bring Dwayne in.
Camera's staying off today.
You staying off today?
I need to shave and some most of no.
Let's see. I just got a text message. I just got a text message from somebody watching saying, Ben, why does your wife have her camera on and you don't? I'm like, well, because not everybody looks good without makeup in the morning. Come on, man.
Be glad. I was going to say something, but I didn't, Ben. So you got lucky because I was going to say the same thing. I'm like, how the hell Jada got her camera on, but Ben ain't got her there? I
don't even know what my my razors are down in the car, bro. My beard looks like it's 30 days old, and I look like George Jefferson.
I don't want to hear that.
Come on, man.
Y'all in these fake ass beards y'all talking about. Rebecca, you muted, by the way. Y'all in these fake ass beards y'all be talking about. Y'all got a groom. If Bubba can look up looking
You
like
got a
Wolfman,
good beard. When your
y'all
beard
can
is
get
raggedy,
y'all
you got to work extra hard, James. You got a good beard. James.
Damn that.
You know what they say? You know what they call it? They call it body dysmorphia.
Bubba, we ain't invest in the beard.
Body dysmorphia.
James, all we got to do is pull
have
up a
one.
picture. Just pull up an old picture of Ben from like.
You don't
4
have a
years
beard,
ago.
James. You got the best beard out of the crew. What are you talking about?
I said a beard bonnet.
Wait,
Dwayne said I have
Dwayne, you got a
beard
beard?
bonnet.
Dwayne, you got a
I
beard?
thought you said.
Yeah, I got
Say
a
that
beard.
again,
I
Rebecca.
can't be walking around here baby face.
Oh, yeah.
Look like I'm like 12 years old.
Wait, David, you
Looking
have
like
a
a
beard?
shaved testicle.
He has a beard too. What you say? A shaved testicle?
Looking like a shaved testicle. That's how I look when I shave my beard off. I ain't gonna do that shit. Dead.
Welcome to the after party, ladies and gentlemen.
That is
we
live, by the way.
we
still.
jumped deep in. we jumped into the deep end.
It's very deep. The deepest
Are they
part of it.
swollen from the
No, Ben, let it go.
What the hell, Ben? See, you give a mother sucker an inch, they go a damn mile.
No, I'm talking about I'm just talking about the Trinidadian testicular fiasco.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
all.
callback.
It's a callback.
Anywho,
Dwayne, we're gonna miss you, man. Dwayne's gonna be gone for a couple of weeks. He's been announcing it, man. But we're gonna miss you in solidarity with you, and we're excited about your new journey, brother.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna miss
How
y'all
you feeling?
yet or not, but I'm just playing.
That's that light
I ain't
skin
gonna have
shit
time
right
to
there.
miss
I don't
nobody.
like that. Let me stop.
I ain't gonna have time to miss nobody.
Oh no, you're not gonna have time. Not with a new
you're gonna
mom.
miss everyone. That's why you're that's why look, that's why you sticking up for me and stuff. Cause not on a good day, you would never say nothing for me. Okay.
Look, when the 4 a.m. mornings come,
like we could talk about you, you know what I mean? But we not about to let the outsiders just come for your neck like that.
That's right.
But,
That's right. That's right. No. At the end of the day, we are ratchet. At the end of the day, each of us in our own way are ratchet and have some severe problems. And if y'all pull up in our comment section the wrong way, we might pull up for real.
Yeah.
I never heard Dwayne snap like that. Dwayne was ready about to transmorph to the computer to get that guy.
I already knew it was something when Dwayne had stopped talking or saying something, and then I saw the comment pop up. I'm like, oh yeah, I see what I'm doing.
Me lost as ever. So yeah, wait, what's happening? Meanwhile, I'm being degraded in the comment section. I'm like, what the heck? What?
Yeah.
So, well, thank you guys for always having my back. I love you guys. Mean it all the time.
Always,
And,
even though you get on our nerves, but always.
Yeah, I know that I get on you. I jump on them. I tap dance on them, especially when I be having y'all come from the Ben Dixon Show and y'all like, what the hell is this bald-headed girl? Where is this girl?
even today, like we was all over the place today. We was behind by like 15 minutes, filibustering and all kind of stuff. And you still weren't there when it was time. When it was time to bring you on through. I was like, damn,
Rebecca.
man. I was like, what more we got
Rebecca,
to do?
it took my pastor 20 minutes to get his internet working.
20,
I did a whole
20,
interview.
probably about 30. Stop.
So Ben texted
I'm in the background sweating bullets. I'm like, I don't want Olay to wait that long. I didn't want Olay to wait that long. David's sending me slacks. Hurry up, Ben. Olay's waiting. And Rebecca's still wasn't.
Look, and what's crazy is I'm surprised David didn't hit me up. So because usually David's like, hey, not trying to pressure you or anything. Just wanted to give me a little bit of a time frame. Bubba calls me and then Ben, Becca. And I'm like, ooh, dang. Ooh, because I rolled out of bed.
for all intents and purposes, it is your day off.
Yeah.
Right.
And I rolled out. Well, actually, so I stayed up late talking to that man. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? My nights have been nice and good, but I stayed up late on the phone for work. And then after work, took me a nice shower and then, lit a candle and was like, what's the, hey? And then that ended up being like 2-3 hours of a conversation. And then boom, I woke up this morning by 8:50.
Rebecca took it back to high school. They falling asleep on the phone and stuff.
Yeah, no,
you hang up. No, you hang up first.
Yeah,
no, you hang up.
Right. Hey, did he hit you? Did he hit you back with the hey? Oh, anyway, that's a meta.
He has the same accent as Olay. So like it's I like to hear. Yeah, he's Haitian too. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay.
7.
You normally go for the African brothers, the African angels.
Yeah, Caribbean or African, but no, sorry, Caribbean. And when I say Caribbean, Haitian. or African. And usually when they're African, they're more the French-speaking Africans. That's usually what goes for me. So,
David, when you give me these Slack time updates, you increase my anxiety, bro. Like, it's just me popping up. 20 minutes to go, Ben. I'm like, bro, I have not had. Wait a minute. What channels are we streaming on? I need to know who I'm talking to.
We're live. I keep telling.
Okay,
I keep saying, Ben, we're live.
Okay, there you go. Okay, gotcha. I'll hold the rest of that to the patron party tomorrow night. Then I got to be in a certain mindset to properly process all of those notifications, man. But
no,
Rebecca,
I know you guys. I know that Jamaicans are Caribbeans, but I was saying like my preference, and I guess it's because I speak Creole.
I knew that she was getting
and
it.
I look now I'm in there. I guess it's because I speak Creole, and I want to raise my kids to speak the language too, kind of like have that.
You don't want them coming out talking about book patois.
No. And that could be
how they say Rebecca bomba clutch now, man, Rebecca.
And no, it's the same in Creole. It's the same in Creole too. It's the same in Haitian Creole too. It's just in Haitian Creole. It's like we all have this unified thing, but I really want them to speak Haitian Creole. And there are Jamaicans that actually speak Haitian Creole. So like I found a Bahamian who is Haitian. So, who knows, y'all? Who knows?
You better raise this glass.
Who knows?
Man, let's run a clip real quick. Dwayne, play that AP1, Dwayne. Let's get some ABCs going on. Let's teach y'all ABCs.
Twisted ABCs. Hey.
Everybody learn your ABCs. Start with A, then end with Z. Everybody learn your ABCs. Start with A, then end with Z. Yo A, yo B, yo 1, 2, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Yo A.
I want to see
drop the lower third.
Yo A, B's and C's again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
You can't listen.
My neck, my bike.
That's all we
my
hear.
back.
Like,
exactly.
Okay, baby, let's learn
some songs you can't remix.
And then be like,
okay. All your ladies snap your fingers like this. Hey,
don't stop, don't quit. And I was like,
watch Kirk Franklin remix that.
When that song came out, and I was literally like, my neck, my back, and I was a child.
Wait a minute.
I was a child. I had no business. No business.
How old were you when that song came out, Rebecca?
Huh?
How old were you when that song came out?
I had to be. Let me see.
Not old enough to be singing it for sure.
Right.
Not old enough to be
That's
singing
exactly
it.
right.
Was I even in double digits
college.
yet? I don't know.
Probably wasn't.
What's a possibility? See, we were in college and she was in high school. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
No, she wasn't even in high school when we were in college.
What was your first year in college?
98. 98, yeah.
I was in middle school.
Rebecca was 8 years. Rebecca was 8 years old.
No, wait, 98 for college. I was elementary school, y'all.
You were elementary school, Rebecca.
Singing my neck, my back. Watch my. Wow.
Holy cow.
Wow. So some songs you can't remix, obviously, because we have no concern about the fact that they were doing the ABCs. We just know the song they took it from. That's all.
You were in Florida, Rebecca.
No, the same.
You was in Florida.
Same reason you got 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds running around singing Pooh Shiesty right now, talking about shooting people up, because they get you early.
They do.
Oh, wow.
It's another song by NBA Youngboy. Damn, I can't remember the name of the song, but I played it at an elementary school, like a DJ at an elementary school every now and again. And I'm talking about kids from kindergarten up until like 5th grade. And so when I tell y'all I played this song and these little kids singing every word, jumping up and down, I'm about to share the video with y'all all over the place. I was like, damn, I ain't even heard this song, but y'all over here bumping it.
Wow.
No, that's crazy. You know what we sound like? Old people.
Right.
You sound like my mom and my daddy right now.
And so, back then, our parents used to do the same thing to us, but now look at us. And, it's very interesting to me because I am still standing strong on, I love freedoms and we're still like pretty young, but I love the freedoms of kids and all of us and things like that. But I don't like...
my kids ain't that free. I'm sorry. My kids ain't gonna
the kids on TikTok do full, like,
TikToks.
grown folks dancing. I ain't talking about the little TikTok dancing. I'm talking about full grown folk dancing, right? Throwing little kids throwing little booties and doing all kinds of stuff. I don't like to see it. I don't like to see it. But they're like, they're creative freedom. And now I feel like I'm an old lady, because then I feel like I'm not appreciative of this type of art, but it's not art to me. They're babies. They are babies. Stop setting up your babies to do this to get 3 million views. Like, stop it. You're exploiting your children.
No, man. 3 million views to pay somebody's mortgage, to be honest with you.
They want this money.
3 million views, that's about $35,000.
Right, get them 3 million, put that in the college fund.
Because
I'm about to get my little niece to start reviewing toys so I can get some money.
I'm about to start twerking. Hold on.
Exploit them for
3 million views?
Exploit them for kid things, but do not exploit them doing grown folk stuff. I hate to see that. Like, I don't like to see that. Honestly, that's just my opinion. What happened to the Boogos or the little barrettes and the little puppy dresses? Now they wearing the same clothes as they mamas. It's crazy. Like, how your mama
you're right, Rebecca.
Over outfit and you got one on too.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Y'all wearing different colors, same cut, Fashion Nova outfit, just a different shade of color.
Hey, little babies in bustiers. Look, I saw a baby in a thigh high socks. I said, now we doing too much. Thigh high sexy socks, a baby.
Yeah, we are some tradition. We are some old. We old. We really are some traditional old folks. But it's a good thing. I'm with you, Rebecca. I ain't saying nothing wrong with what you saying. But you ain't gonna see my babies out here. Now you'll see me twerking. For 3 million views, I will drop it back like it's hot and look back at it.
They putting full lace wig on the baby who ain't even grown her edges in yet. I just can't
trying to get off the children, Rebecca. Let's move
with the people.
Let's look at AP3. I don't know what AP2 is yet. Y'all gotta tell me what that is. Do y'all know what AP2? Who knows what AP2 is?
Al James.
I don't know. I don't remember what that one is.
Okay, let's go. Let's go to 3. Let's go to the cruise twerking, and then we have a
baby.
Let's go to AP3 first.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, it didn't work. Damn it.
Oh man.
This is what happens with TikTok. Just cut it.
Slow motion for me.
Oh,
slow
all right, hold on.
motion
I'll play
for
it
me.
without the audio because he was about to get it.
He was.
Hold on, that dude was about to get it. I think. Hold on, y'all feel about
James, you might have to put a trap beat underneath it.
I don't know about a trap beat because it's not a trap beat that he was twerking.
Oh, it's not the kind of twerking.
You can put some.
He ain't twerking it.
Huh?
Oh, okay.
Some who? Dwayne.
Some Queen.
Some Queen.
And you definitely have to play it before after that.
The champions,
my friend.
I'm the one.
Hey.
Here they go.
Hey.
Get it.
What's the swag?
Hey.
Bubba,
Hey,
I'm
give me
mad
a break.
you started this song at the perfect point, like it's supposed to go with this video.
Keep doing it. I'm that shit. Yes, I am. Yes.
Why they
Let me tell y'all something. Mess with me. I'll be out there just like that. Boom, splitting off.
What's the swag?
Boy, did that split.
Girl, not.
Oh my god.
Oh man, that's great. Run it back. Here we go. That's it. It went on repeat. I thought the black man was going to do the dancing.
Oh, no,
It was when he kicked the shoes off of me. Yeah, when he kicked the sandals off, he already knew it was about to go down.
Ooh.
Here you go. Bim.
Oh, it's that move right there.
Yeah, I'm not doing a handstand. Bow. Look at that. The split. It's the split for me.
Listen. I live for a good split.
Oh man, the split did it for me. The split did it for me.
Listen, the split.
Rebecca, you be like that at the club?
I used to be so good at the split, and now, honey, I can't. I got to do a half a split because I can't. If you don't stretch them legs out like you used to, you're like it's so hard. It's so hard.
Hold on, wait a minute. Was that a full split that he did, or
he did
I
a
thought
full
he did a
split,
half
not
split?
a half split. He did a full split.
A full split, yeah.
See how easy it is to infiltrate black culture.
Yeah. Do you see how? But do you see how it's still, no matter what, it's kind of like, you know how they say Beyonce is always on beat, or such and such. The black kid's always on beat. You know, whatever. But I can't say that for. It's the handstand for me. It's the handstand for me. It's like
we be giving these people honorable mentions, don't we?
Yep.
Because he ain't really dancing. I mean, he good, I guess. Look, but
Dwayne,
honorable mention guy.
Why do we always have to do this? Give them people their credit and move on. Okay.
And I mean, he did go into a split, and he did bounce.
That split was bananas.
But that give him a little bit right there. Now he probably. I'm gonna already tell you. I know he gay because the way he bounced on that split. Okay, girl.
He bounced, and it looked like.
Hey, man, wait a minute. Okay, so I'm gonna stick to the half split because I've been working on the full split. He's saying
he's bounced. I mean, what's going on?
Ben.
Nah, so look, I've never been able to do a full split, James.
Hold on,
I've been doing half split.
I know we having fun and all, right? But all them black people around him, that's us, like in the United States. And him dancing right there, that's our politicians that we, you know what I mean? That's it. And we just around there cheering like, oh yeah, look what they doing. And then he probably in his little cabin be like, look at them niggas out there. You know what I mean? So look at how easy it is for us to be fooled. Sorry, man. Y'all ain't gonna have me for a couple
Wait. I gotta ask you a question, Dwayne.
I'm just saying. You can't be leaving on
Dwayne. You know,
somebody must have. It's somebody that did.
You're not wrong.
No, somebody did something wrong yesterday.
Look,
Dwayne said he gonna make. Hey,
I'm gonna be gone for a while.
Dwayne said he tired of seeing this,
so I gotta make sure the people miss me when I'm gone. That's all.
Right.
That man did a full split, y'all. That man did a full split like it was nothing. I feel my groin is screaming on his behalf. Wow. That man, was that alcohol or meth? What? Never mind. I'm sorry. Next
Benjamin Dixon.
It's on a cruise, man. It was probably alcohol.
I'm joking. He was having a good time. Next clip.
The country people are the ones with the meth. They have the teeth missing and everything.
Actually, they're doing all kinds of crack on the island. I'm gonna tell you,
they got meth on that cruise ship. What are you talking about?
You go on vacation, and I was offered so much type of drugs on the resort. Okay, these wife was like, "You want to do a little bit of? I got that stuff." I'm like, "Oh, I don't do that."
Amen.
Like, well, we're gonna go hit it real quick. I'm like, "Weed? Nah.
They were like,
we like to do the drugs." I'm like, "Oh,
you want an 8-ball guy? Hey, guy, we got 8 balls over here." I'm like. Okay. Rebecca, you're around the people doing
2.
hard
What you
drugs.
talking about? You got 8. I got 2. What you talking?
These are
I'm afraid of this next video.
The people that were
thank you, Dwayne.
I caught it.
The people that were talking about the drugs and the hard drugs at the resort that I was at, and mind you, it's a 5-star resort. But people that were talking about it, their parents. They were 2 parents with kids, and they're like the whitest parents you can ever find. They were just like, yeah, but I got the stuff. Like, what do you like? We always do it on vacation. We always do the stuff on vacation.
Okay, hang on. Speaking of vacation, what is that new movie with the wrestler John Cena? Oh my goodness!
Yeah, that movie is hilarious. And Rebecca, it's the exact
movie
same thing. What you talk about?
It's the exact same scenario you talk about.
Vacation Friends.
Vacation Friends.
Yes,
that is the funniest movie.
Oh my God.
I gotta watch that again because that made me laugh so hard. But that's exactly what happens. You know, when you go on vacation, it's crazy. Like, especially if you're with a partner and you find another couple, they are going to try to be like really friendly with you. I even was offered, but people are strange on vacation.
They was friendly for.
They're looking to unlock. They're looking to unlock a new achievement on that vacation.
What happens on the beach stays on the beach is what they
stays on the beach.
Yeah, I can't. When I'm on the beach, I like to be on the beach, have a good time. I'm a drink. I'm gonna do all that. But the heavy drugs and the sexual extra activities with other people, no, that's wild. That's wild.
Rebecca, used to be were you like a deaconess or a missionary mother at a church? Like, cause you are. I mean, I'm right there with you. I'm not saying anything that you're saying I don't agree with, but I did not realize you were as traditional and old fashioned as I am.
Yeah, I'm traditional and untraditional in every single way.
Okay, both at the same time, both on.
At the same.
Oh, that's right, because we said it on the show. You said you're righteous and ratchet. There you go.
Yeah, all right, and I love it. But there are some things I just will not stand for, and that is going on a vacation and being hit on by a white strange couple trying to take me to their hotel room. I will not, and I had to stay away. I met them and had a good time, and I stayed away from that particular couple for the rest of the trip. I would see them and be like on the other side, like it was crazy.
You're gonna end up Anyway, let's watch that movie again. I love that movie.
It's a good movie.
In the movie, she ended up pregnant.
Agreed.
Rebecca, what if it was
I won't end up doing anything like that. That was crazy.
What if it was an
that
African
was
couple?
crazy. Huh?
What if it was an African couple?
No, I just want one, and that the one person can get anything they want. I'm not adding extra people to anything.
Well, I mean,
let it be Bay, and the only.
We're still
Bae.
public. We're still public. We'll save the rest of that before because you know.
So I got a story too. We went to the nude beach. Did get nude, don't worry, but went to the nude beach in Miami, and there was this black couple. It hadn't been a white couple, probably would have did, but it was this black couple that were beautiful, and they were giving us like, you guys want to come down with us and get a Corona? Sure.
That sounds like the beginning of an interesting friendship.
Corona and what was it? Corona and Fireball. That's what it was. And when I tell y'all, it was nice, Rebecca. It was nice.
What was nice? The drink?
Girl, it was nice.
You know what, guys? I don't have time for your shenanigans this morning. Okay? I don't have
James said he's living in the year 3000, Rebecca. You need to keep up.
Oh, man.
I don't.
Well, my wife and my pastor were on this episode, so I have no comment.
Have you really lived if you never went on vacation in like your early 20s and just let all your inhibitions go? Have you even lived?
Are you even alive?
I was saved really throughout my 20s.
Oh.
You said
I'm
you was
saved
what?
now.
I told y'all before I used to be a heathen, so don't mind me.
Yeah.
But it's so different with men and
heathen.
women, right? It's different. It's different with men and women, right? I had my wild time. I can't lie, and it didn't have to be on vacation. But you know, it's different with men and women. Like I meet a lot of guys, and so this is what they say about women. We always talk about we've gone through a whole phase, right? And men's little whole phases are very extended. I mean, they go from season to season to season to season. But I feel like women have gone through like a whole phase at one part of their life, and if they haven't, they're going to, right? And when I say whole phase, I don't say that in a bad way, but that's just a time where you're having a good time, hopefully protected, but having a good time, enjoying yourself. If you're out, you know, it's just like whatever it happens here stays here, and it's unregretful moments that you probably won't do again. But yeah, like, so yeah, everybody has that. I've gone through that.
All right. Yeah, no, everybody. Yes.
You know, somebody was saying like, you know, when you're exercising, and it's been such a long time, but then you just hit a stretch real quick, and then you just remember the last time you were in that position.
I saw that video. that hip stretch.
Dang, I remember that.
Yeah. That anyway. I'm afraid to say it's the end of the show because every time I try to end the show, I get cussed out. So I'm just gonna sit here and let y'all tell me when I can go.
You can't.
Look, anywho,
You're not allowed.
Y'all want to watch the gorilla twerking real quick?
Was the gorilla really twerking though? No, I'm going to tell you something.
It's kind of awkward to me.
Really twerking though? There was a lot happening in that video, and especially after what we just talked about, I don't think.
Oh yeah, I thought about that too. Hold that. Is that the one where the gorilla was trying to tease her male counterpart?
Was that really twerking though?
Okay, no, that one.
That
wasn't twerking. That was a sexual escapade.
But then someone put some music under it too.
Oh my God.
I don't want to watch it. It made me.
I guess we gotta watch it now.
Do we go?
I guess, or do we just say hell, F it, and let's go home?
We're already home, Ben.
Damn it, Rebecca! Every time you mess up going forward, I'm gonna call. I'm not at home. Okay.
Okay. So listen. I'll say this. Can we just stay on for like maybe 5 more minutes? I don't want to leave.
Stay with you, Rebecca.
Thanks, David. Okay, well, thanks, Dwayne. Yeah,
Ben,
I want you too, Bubba. Ben, if you want to go home, you could go home.
Bye.
No, stay on.
Ben,
I'm gonna listen in.
You could have been on your way home already. We can't even see what you're doing. You could have been driving.
But we saw what Jay was doing, but can't see what the hell Ben doing.
Y'all gonna leave me alone, man. I look like death warmed over. It's been a long 3
Man,
weeks.
I don't want to hear that.
That said, damn.
So what else I want to talk about? So I don't have anything much to talk about, but I just wanted to just.
You just want to hold us up.
Yeah, I just want to hold you guys up because I don't want to. I have to go to work. So,
well, this is going to be our last time for a while before we get to hang out with Dwayne for how many weeks, Dwayne? Because America don't believe in leave, but we do.
2 weeks.
Yeah, but y'all gonna be in good hands.
No, he has to be on leave. Why is it only 2 weeks?
It's only 2 weeks because that's what I chose. Like,
we tried to tell
okay, because I'm about to say, you know how Ben does. Ben don't give maternity leave or paternity leave. He likes to,
Ben, look, I'm not gonna stand beside you on that one, Bubba. He does. Ben gives more than God knows how much time off us. That's why you don't be seeing us on here for real. So Ben is
and then if anybody needed some time off, man, good God Almighty. So please thank y'all for letting me use my avatar this week, because But that said, Rebecca, you got
somebody just called you Krillin, Ben.
Oh yeah, that's Goku.
Always Krillin, Goku.
Just in the chat room.
No, I know.
They've been calling me Krillin.
That kind of made me laugh. But Krillin is like, the boss. So, but
wow.
Sorry, Krillin ain't okay.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he got skills, but he ain't.
He ain't Goku.
Kakarot.
He's
Super
not
Saiyan
Vegeta. I like Vegeta. Vegeta was kind of fine to me.
Look at Rebecca talking about Dragon Ball Z.
I love Dragon Ball Z. Gohan.
Piccolo was Vegeta. I like Piccolo. Piccolo was like, I'm so tired of y'all stupid asses. That's every episode. He just looked like he wanted to just kill everybody.
Just over it. Just over all of them. Like,
just over it. He was like, y'all all idiots. Majin Buu. Y'all remember that?
Oh, Majin Buu. Yeah.
Majin Buu. That was a series right there. Majin Buu was scary.
A lot of people called that I'm not going to say it, but Dwayne, are you looking forward to being
I'm leaving y'all.
a dad?
Okay.
Of course.
You going, James?
Of course.
I need to, because I got to log in for work, unfortunately.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I got to.
So, Rebecca, if you come on time next time, then you can feel
Dwayne's
that fulfillment that we have.
Well,
Dwayne,
first off, it was her day off, Ben.
I just ain't gonna be working.
I have to stick up for Rebecca. It is her day off, so we can't blame her for being late because she came in on her day off, just like me.
I can't get away with shit on my own channel.
9:30. Like, what's up? What's tea? I pulled up.
I can't get away with nothing on my channel.
It's your channel. It's your channel.
I can't get away with nothing here, but that's the way I like it. I love it. Listen, but what I will get away with is saying goodbye. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Thank y'all.
Right,
See y'all tomorrow night for the Patreon party. Dress nice. We'll see y'all there. Dwayne.
Congratulations, Dwayne.
Good luck, man. We love you, brother.
Costume too.
I will. All right, y'all. Take care.
All right, y'all. We love y'all. We mean it. Dwayne. Brother, we gonna miss you, man. But happy for you, dude. I'm proud of you. So, man, make sure that you do your damn thing. You always let us know. You know we got you out. And everybody else, man, we will see y'all tomorrow. Remember, there's no show in the morning. But Halloween party tomorrow night. Patreon.com/LikeItOrNot. Patreon.com/Show. So you can get access to the party, man. We love you, y'all. We mean it. Dwayne, love you, brother, man. Take care of yourself and congratulations again. Deuces, y'all. We out.
Can't stop, won't stop. Can't stop.